Hey, happy Monday, everybody. It is June 26th, 2023. And here we are again. Interesting weekend, interesting end to the week, I should say. But we're back. It's Monday, and we are going back into time once again, back to Moscow, Idaho. And we are starting over from the beginning. Who and what did we miss? One way or another, we're going to find out, and you are all going to join me doing that. Thank you all so much for being here. It's great to have you guys back. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. Let's get this show on the road. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Good to be here. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is. I hope it's good for you because it's good for me to be back with you. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Mama Bear will be here soon, folks. I'm not bringing anybody up on panel as of now. We're starting off going back to the beginning, other than Mama Bear, when she does jump back in here in a little bit. She had to do some training today, so at least not today. I just want to start this off fresh, get things rolling, then we'll go from there. I got 125 amazing people in here. Thank you all so very much for joining me. We are going to do the open panel, open discussion this week, as we do. Once we get this stuff rolling and get back, because we're going back to the very, very, very beginning, and I mean beginning, and seeing what in the hell and who we missed, because Lord knows we missed something based on what we found out at the end of last week. Welcome to all of you guys. 129 beautiful people in here. We got 60 likes. Let's make it match, folks. If we can, let's get us out into that algorithm and get things rolling for today. Who do we have here today that graced us with their amazing selves? Let's see, Miss Jennifer S. Welcome. Good to see you. Mandy Joe, my lovely mod. Good to have you here. Laughing Stock. Welcome. Good to have you. Lance, my brother. Good to see you. Brian Hoffman. Welcome back, brother. It's been a minute. Higher Ground, my dear. It's so great to see you. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Sherry K, welcome back. Good to have you. Stevie Irwin's in the house. Good to see you. Vix Logic, welcome back. No chains, all chains, no mo. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Miss Annie Potts, welcome back. Good to see you. Patty Barnett, welcome back. Good to have you here. Miss Heather, one of my other amazing mods, is in the house. Good to have you here, Heather. Thank you for joining me. Miss Brandy, the OG, good to have you here. Another amazing mod in the house, guys. Miss Ann, welcome back. Sarah D, great to see you. Let me see. Miss Sherry, another amazing mod in the house. Good to see you. Wisdom Speaks. Thanks for joining us today. Miss Carolyn, welcome back, dear. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Sarah D, good to see you. I think I said that. Katie Perrin, welcome back, dear. Good to see you. Bad Wolf, welcome back. Good to have you here. Randy Furr, welcome, brother. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Red, another amazing mods in the house. Good to have you, sir. Thanks for joining us. Rhode Island Housewives in the house, guys. Welcome back. Good to have you. Miss Willow, happy to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Bix Logic, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. Let me see. There he is, my buddy Eddie, One Made Nut. Welcome back, brother. Good to have you. Let's see. Sergeant Friday's in the house, guys. Tuck your shirts in. Shine them shoes. Welcome, Sarge. Good to have you here, bro. Let's see. Nellie B. How you be doing today? Good to see you, Nellie. Thanks for joining us. V. Oakley from Cali. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Miss Heather Lauer, my gorgeous little sister. Good to have you here, sis. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see. Anybody else I can find? Chalk Baby, welcome back. Good to see you. Katie Perrin, I think I said that. Miss Green Eyes, welcome back. Good to have you here. Michigan, welcome. Good to have you. Roddy Devil Doll 666. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. Evil CJ, my brother. Good to have you here today. Good to see you. Don't work too hard, bro. All right. Let's see. Did I catch him up? I'm almost there, folks. Almost there. Zelda's in the house. Good to have you back, sis. Another one of my amazing mods. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Marley Kate 21. Welcome back. Great to have you here. Party of 5. Good to have you. Dolphin 517. Great to see you, sis. Thanks for joining us again today. Did I do it? Did I get him there? I think so. And we also got Speculation Station. That's a new name. Welcome. Good to have you here. Great to see you. Paige, welcome back, dear. Good to see you, Miss Sophie. Always happy to see you. Did I miss anybody? Miss Crystal, great to have you here. Great to see you. Margaret Oprah, good to have you as well. Miss Sue Williams, welcome back, dear. There's my brother, Mikey. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for joining us, bro. Truth is in the Rabbit Hole. Welcome back. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. I think that covered it for right now. Nat Cat, welcome back. Good to have you. D. Smith, welcome back. Great to see you. Miss Sylvia's in the house. Self-aware, a biatch. Good to see you. Fupa's in the house. Good to have you back, Fupa. Great to see you. All right. Miss Tina Elizabeth, good to see you as well. Shelly Steer, another new name. Great to have you here. Come on in, everybody. Come on down. Grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come on in here. Sit down. Have a conversation with me. So great to have you guys here. Miss Linda DaCosta, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Curious Chick, great to have you here. That seems like a new name. Welcome. It's great to see the new faces. 184 beautiful people in here. 89 likes. Come on, guys. At least get us to 100 so we can break that algorithm and get out into the flow. Jamie J, good to see you. Marina Girl, welcome. Good to have you here. All right. Miss Vicky, great seeing you back. Thank you guys all so very much for joining me. Canadian True Crime Buff, welcome. Always happy to see you. Shattered Dimensions, brother, good to have you here. CL, welcome. Good to have you here. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. I hope every one of you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was the best. Danger Zone, welcome, brother. Good to see you. Who did I missed somebody else. Miss Sophie, great to see you. D. Dobson. I think that did it there. Come on in, guys. Get a seat. Get comfortable. Let's do this. Guys, I just want to throw some things out there. I would appreciate if we stay away from the politics talk. It seems to bother some people, as it normally does. And religion, we don't do. No politics, no religion. Everybody stays happy. So we're going to stay away from that. We're going to keep it about the case for the case, if you know what I'm saying by that. So we're going to stay away from anything other than that. Of course, you guys can have your private conversations. But no politics, no religion. That way everybody stays happy. Um, Thank you, Miss Heather. That is absolutely correct. Thank you so very much for that. Jump on in the sauce, guys. If you are not a member yet, become part of the family. That way you get exclusive access into our Discord chat and movie nights, so on and so forth, folks. Come on in. Miss Kim Marin, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Always happy to see you, Kim. No worries, dear. We got our prayers about your puppy, hon. I saw that. Miss Laura, welcome. Good to see you. CL, great to see you. I think I said that already, but you get it twice. Come on down, everybody. Get comfortable. Let's do this. Miss Sherry K, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. New name, it looks like, I think. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If not, welcome. It's great to have you here. Yeah, that's right. Get saucy with us. That's right, Paige. Come on in, guys. Become a member. It's only $2.99. All right, we got 200 people here. We broke 100 likes. Thank you all so very much for that. You guys are amazing. Once again, guys, I throw these links up all the time. This is a 100% crowd-funded channel. That's what keeps me coming to you guys every single solitary day. You do not have to donate to support the channel, but should you choose to want to keep me coming out here, there are the links for Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, and I do appreciate you so very much. Miss Evie Marie, good to see you, my dear. Thanks for joining us. And that is totally up to you, folks, but it is very much appreciated, and it does pay the bills to keep me coming to you guys every day, like I said. So thank you. Miss Cami Q, great to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Always happy to see you. Again, Evie Marie, Bonnie Messick, good to have you back there. Come on in, guys. Get comfortable if you would. That's right, Lance. We are the voice for the voiceless. That is what we do. 12. What is going on? Also, guys, I do not want, regardless of personal feelings, if you have those, please just try to be respectful and keep those to yourselves. I will not allow, as I never have, and I don't do myself, any kind of other creator bashing, regardless of what is said or done on the other side of things. I will not do it. I will not start doing it now. I've never done it. Like I said, anybody that has any specific issues, just if you can, please kind of keep that to yourselves. Anina B, good to see you. Kels, good to have you. Sarah Q, thank you for joining us. Because we are a respectful channel here, and we will continue to be a respectful channel, as we always have been, as are this community are all very respectful people. Each and every single one of you guys. So we will keep it like that. No reason to not. What's up, Firefly? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Melissa D, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Serious YouTube watcher, welcome. Good to see you. Another new name. Nina V, yes. Miss Sarah Q, welcome. Great to see you. Stevie Irwin's in the house. Hey, hey. Good to see you, Stevie. Thanks for joining us today. Miss Willow, happy to see you again. Did I miss anybody in here at all? I don't see, or nor do I think I did. Miss Lori Smith, great to see you. That would have been Mr. David James, Lori. He gifted a bunch of memberships at some point. So welcome to the family, my dear. It's great to have you here. And it is another meatball in the house floating around in the sauce with the rest of us. So great to have you. Tattletales. Hey, hey, good to see you. And Miss Cindy Ann, good to have you. Buenos Aires, Miss Cindy, to you. Adam, stand by the jams. I'm here too. I see you, bro. Absolutely. Hello to all the lurkers that are out there watching that aren't in chat. It is so great to have you here. I appreciate you so very much. Just because you're not in chat does not mean that I don't want you here, because I do love each and every one of you guys. That's a fact. Lynn69, I see you there. I was getting down to you. Tattletales, love from Akron, Ohio. Hey, hey. We're neighbors. Good to have you here, Tattles. Can lead a horse to one, but you can't make him drink. That's a fact. Welcome to all the UK people. Anyone from overseas, anywhere. It's great to have you all here. Audrey Cakes, great to have you here. Everyone is welcome, folks. Unless they do not want to be here. It's all good. Sorry, what's up, Pappy Man? Good to have you here, Mandy Joe. Let's see. That's right. Colby. I'm driving to Savannah for an appointment. Good to have you here. Red Riding Hood, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Miss Linda Acosta's from South Africa, guys. It's great to have you back, Linda. We've missed you. P. Fox, what is up? Good to see you. Yes, it is hot. It's been hot for a couple of days. Junkin' Mama, what's up? Good to have you back. Let me see here. I see some Irish too. Yes. I think it's I thought she was in here earlier. Where did she go? Miss Anna. She's from Ireland. Anna Flavia Constantino. Yes. We did miss you, ma'am. Yes, we did. Is Jules in here? Yes, she is. Come on in, Jules. Noni's in the house. What's up, Miss Noni? Good to have you here. Great to see you. There's Anna. There she is. All right. Miss Jules is listening. Yes, I knew she'd be here. Misty Jane. All right. Miss Natalie B. What's up, Mojo? Thanks for joining us, brother. Good to have you here. Always happy to see you. Ivan Montez. Welcome. Renee M. Good to have you here. By the way, Mr. Jeff, if you're out there listening, sir, you are available to be able to come into chat. Sir, I sent you an email letting you know it was a misunderstanding between the person that did it and us, and it is not there anymore. You are, sir, quite welcome in here. Come on in and get comfortable, if you will. Suzanne Seidel, welcome back. Eve Lucky, Ashley Nicolette, good to see you. Nat Cat, another South African. We got two in the house. Hey. Erica Gray, I'm new. This is not about the Koberger case. Yes, ma'am, it is. All about it. 1,000%. It is all about Moscow. We are going back to the beginning when this all first happened and trying to find out what we and who we missed. I still don't see Jules in here. I don't know why I can't see her. Where the heck are you, Jules? Everybody's saying hi to you, but I don't see you. That's weird. There you are. All right. Bingo. All right. Good stuff. Welcome, Jules. It's good to have you here, dear. Thank you for joining us today. I see you now. I'm a cheesy meatball. I do not apologize. And there is no reason to apologize. We like cheesy meatballs in here. All right, come on in, everybody. 251 people in here. Hey, Miss Kimberly. How do you become a member? You should be able to click on the link in the community page. That should do it for you right there. Thank you so much, Miss Patty. I appreciate that. If not, one of the moderators can help you with it, dear. I might be wrong, but I believe that's how you do it. Dana, good to see you. Casey, welcome, darling. It's good to have you back. Happy to see you all. That's a fact. Pepper Jack is good stuff. Again, guys, we're going to keep this about the case. Nothing more. No political talk. No religious talk. None of that. It's about the case. The Moscow, Idaho, University of Idaho, quadruple homicide that we've been dealing with for months upon months. We are going back to the beginning, checking it out, and seeing what we may have missed, just like we've never seen it before. This is brand new to us, even though I know it's not. It's going to be hard to put it that way, but like I said, Mama Bear will be joining us here in a little while. She had something she had to do for work, but she will be here soon. And
new details tonight.
All right. Like I said, folks, it is great to see you all. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. A beautiful weekend. Enjoyed all your family, your friends, yourselves. Took some time to put your feet up, relax. And we're back. That's right. Like I said, we're gonna start this off like it never happened, like it's the first day we've ever seen it. Again, I know that's gonna be hard because we all have it in our heads and have had it in our heads for months. But this is how we got to do this to find out what we missed, who we missed, and figure out what the hell is going on, since there is no DNA from the victims on anything that Bryan Kohberger, the guy that they've had in jail for months as a suspect, anything that he owns, there's no DNA. None in the car. Any of it. It's weird. We're going to figure it out. You're not lying, Sinead. Thank you for, I love your name. I love your name. Thank you so much for joining us, because nothing compares to you. How corny am I? I'm a cornball. I know. It's okay. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. And that is one thing I want everybody that's new coming in here to understand right off the bat. Aristocrat, great to see you. You do not have to have one specific mindset on this case. You do not have to worry about anybody in here attacking you if you don't agree with anybody else. What's up, Gaya Deguchi? Good to see you. SRB, welcome. In this room, this channel, I preach innocent till proven guilty. That does not mean that I believe Bryan Kohberger is innocent, nor do I believe he's guilty at this point, because we don't have that proof yet. The only proof we have is that Bryan did not have any DNA on him or anything he owns from the victims. So in turn, we need to figure out what the hell's going on, folks. Nobody will attack you in here if you do not believe what somebody else believes. You definitely do not have to follow the same thing that I believe. I don't want that at all. I want you all to have your own separate personal opinions and theories on this. Period. If you agree with somebody else, that's great. If you disagree with somebody else, no big deal. We can all agree to disagree. We're all adults. This is your channel. I just run it for you. Okay? Understand that. And you, at the end of the day, at the end of the show, good golly, Miss Molly's in the house. There she is. Good to see you, Molly. Thanks for joining us. At the end of the day, at the end of the show, we can all walk away, shake hands, and be friends just as we were, because we are a family in here, folks. Don't forget that, okay? Welcome, New Orleans lady. Good to see you. Good to see you. Like I said, you have your feelings. I have mine. Somebody else has theirs. Somebody else has theirs. It's okay to do that, folks. That's the way it works. Okay? And if anybody ever attacks you in here because of having your own opinion, you come directly to me or one of the moderators, and it will be handled immediately. That's a promise. Tracy McDaniel, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Pearl Outhouse, welcome back. Great to have you here. Cora263, how are you? Ms. Dorsey, welcome back. Ivar Montez, good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. And Miss Molly, another one of my amazing moderators. So those are the rules. Those are the only rules we have, folks. Love yourselves, love each other, respect each other. That's all I ask for you guys, period. Nothing more. Shelly Steer, yes, good to see you. So, moving forward, I'm going to get this kicked off here a little bit. Let me know if you guys hear everything okay. And if not, I need to know right away so I can fix it. Easy, simple rules. That's absolutely right, Fupa. Nothing more, nothing less, guys. That's all I want from you guys. And you guys have any opinions, you can, like I said, guys, you can disagree with me till you're blue in the face. I don't care. We're not going to fight about it. At the end of that, we're going to shake hands and walk away. That's it. That's what this channel is all about. And it always has been, and it will stay that way. I promise you guys, one way or another. All right. Commercial Zone, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right. Let's see. We got another Raging Cajun in here. New Orleans lady, good to see you. Thank you so very much. We got the first super sticker of the day, Miss Natalie B. Thank you for that. I do appreciate you so very much. And any of you that have put those through, donated to the links that I had on chat, please understand how appreciated that is, guys. That does keep me coming to you, paying the bills, StreamYards, the internet, and all that other stuff that we have to have. It is very much appreciated. very, very much. So thank you, Miss Natalie. I appreciate you once again. And let me see. Where's it at? And we're off to the races, guys. All right. Again, guys, thank you all so very much for joining me. Thank you, Ms. Heather. There's the links again. If anybody does need those, thank you. Let's get to moving. A second here. And again, guys, let me know if you can't hear something. Please.
Another big story today, the Moscow Police Department is investigating a homicide after 4 people were found dead inside a home near the University of Idaho campus earlier today. The Moscow Police Department says they responded to reports of an unconscious person on King Road around noon today. When they got there, they found 4 people dead inside the home. No word on how those 4 people died, but the case is being investigated as a homicide. Police say they will release more information once next of kin has been notified. And just after 1 o'clock today, the university
sent an alert
asking students to stay away from the area and to shelter in place. The school has since lifted the shelter in place request and says they don't believe there is an active threat. We'll continue to keep you updated.
And Frenchman, and good to see you. Elaine Elizabeth, welcome. All right, guys, that was the first news broadcast that came out over that. I just see something. Oh my goodness gracious, Miss Kelly M with a super sticker for $49.99. Thank you so very much for that. I appreciate you so very much. You are absolutely amazing. That is so very much appreciated. I do appreciate you. Chicky Antiques in the house. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us. You do rock, Miss Kelly. Thank you. As do all of you, honestly. All right, guys. Now we're going to move forward into the first press conference that went along with this. Sarah Q. If I didn't say hi to you, I'm sorry, but I am saying it now. I appreciate that, Kelly. I do. I appreciate you more. All right, guys. Now, as I said, we're going back to the beginning on this 100% all the way. And I mean very, very beginning, as you just saw the first news broadcast. Gemini, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right, guys, let's bring up the first presser. Now, the whole point in this, guys, is to pay attention to anything we may have missed. If you want to take notes, whatever you want to do. It's all on you guys. I get it. Sandra, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. I will be taking notes as well. Dana, good to see you. Aristocrat. I love seeing that name Sinead in there. I love it. I'm a huge fan of Sinead O'Connor. So I know the name very well. Mikey. Where is Mikey? Franksman, Dolphin. Good to see you guys all. I'm super happy to have you all here today. All right. Again, folks, let me know how the audio is. Oh, Kimberly, we're going to get to all of it. We're going back and we're sifting through every little bit of this from the very beginning. Like I said, every bit of it. I don't care how long it takes us to do it. We're going to day by day. That's what we're doing. All right. Let's get it. Angela, good to see you. Welcome, dear. Good to have you. 302 people in here. You guys are amazing. All right. Let's do this. Pay close attention, folks, just in case.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Chief James Fry of Moscow Police Department. The last spelling of my name is F-R-Y. I'd like to introduce Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier, Colonel Kedrick Wells of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Dean of Students for the University of Idaho, Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. This incident has shaken our community, has continued to shake our community, and we continue to mourn for the victims. We will continue to vigorously pursue the investigation and pursue justice in this case. It is a complex and terrible crime, and it will take some time to resolve. Today, we want to clarify what we know and where we're at in this investigation. Our primary goal is public safety and to get a completion of this case and bring someone to justice. We continue to dedicate all the resources to this investigation. We've had 646 tips received, and all will be processed, vetted, investigated, and cleared. We've done over 90 interviews in this case so far, and the Moscow Police Department is utilizing the assistance from the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Latah County Sheriff's Office. The personnel that has been assigned to this from the Moscow Police Department is 4 detectives, 24 officers, and 5 support staff. Federal Bureau of Investigators, we have 22 investigators in Moscow, 20 additional are assigned and located in the Treasure Valley, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Virginia. We have 2 behavior analysis individuals from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. For the Idaho State Police, we have 20 investigators, a public information officer, ISP forensic services, and a crime scene team. We have 15 uniformed troopers to assist our community to help provide the additional resources for our patrols. Detectives are looking to develop any content that would help us in this event. Anyone who has observed any notable behavior or has any video surveillance or can provide relevant information about these murders, please call our tip line at 208-883-7180. Or you can email the tip line and that is tipline@ci.moscow.id.us. At this time, I would like to introduce Captain Lanier to give you some additional information.
Now, a lot of people confuse Fry with Captain Lanier. I did at the beginning too because they look like brothers. Okay. So if anybody did have that mixed up at this point, you won't any longer. So it's great to be able to see some of these things. Like I said, Fry's a lot slower than Lanier, in my opinion. I'll be honest with you. So like I said, guys, let's pay attention. Welcome, Catherine Christensen. Good to have you here. Right, Tattletales. I agree with that one. What's up, Sentinel? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Sudi Basic, you are no worries here. We're just getting started. Thank you for joining us, Sudi. It's great to have you here. Did I miss anybody by chance? GMV 0303. Hey, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, guys, take notes if you need for anything. It could be one little thing that we miss, and it can mean the whole world to this case, guys, at this point. Gordon Someway, good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. That's right. Sinead Rose, welcome back. Good to have you here. No, it's all good. No worries. No worries, Rose. No worries. And thank you for that. B Slims, welcome. Good to see you. Deb Wafers, welcome back. Good to have you here. Michelle Mack, I did see you. Welcome. Good to have you here. All right, moving on.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Lanier. I'm a captain over the operations division for the Moscow Police Department. My last name is spelled Lanier. I just want to first state that this tragic murder has shaken the community. It's been very hard for members of the community, and it's been equally difficult for our officers.
Welcome, True Crime Beat. Good to see you.
We will continue to put all of our resources towards investigating and bringing this to a resolution. Here's what we've determined so far. On the evening
Welcome,
of November
Kjo.
12th, Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Morgan were at a local bar and were later at a food truck in downtown Moscow.
I have it turned all the way up, guys. I'm sorry. I can't get it any louder, I don't believe. I do have that turned all the way up. My apologies, folks. It's kind of, this video is kind of low for some reason. I don't know why. Welcome, Bama. Good to have you here. Good to see you. It is blasted all the way up. This one is a low video. I don't know why. I don't know why. I got it all the way up, folks, because I was having trouble too. If you got headphones, it might help. If not, try to turn it up a little bit more if you can. I'm way too loud. Okay. I don't even know. Hold on. Let me try something else, folks. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hello, hello. All right. Let me know if that's any better, guys. If I'm down, I don't know why I was so loud either. That's weird. Is that any better? Maybe that'll bring the video volume up. I hope so, at least. Okay, good deal.
They arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. on the morning of November 13th. Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi house before also arriving home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates were also out in the community, and they returned home at approximately 1 a.m. and did not wake up until later that morning. On the morning of November 13th, at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed to the Whitcomb Dispatch Center reporting an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence and was made from the phone.
Hold on, Miss Heather. Let me give you the exact on it. Sorry, I should have probably done that off the bat, but it doesn't give the date on this one. It just said 7 months ago. I didn't get an exact date on it, so my apologies. This is through KTVB TV 7 months ago. I think this came out. This was the one that was out. I think it was 5 days after the incident itself. So we can go with that. Okay, Opa Lupa, good to have you here. Says 11:16. There we go. Okay, I was wrong then. It wasn't 5 days. I don't know why I was thinking it was 5 days. Either way. So November 16th of 22, guys.
Of one of the surviving roommates. Moscow Police Department officers responded and located 4 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor. The Latah County coroners conducted autopsies, and detectives have been provided with the results of those autopsies. We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims were asleep during the attack.
Welcome, Ron.
Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault. Investigators have determined 2 areas of interest within the city and have provided maps which are on our Facebook page and on our website. And these are areas that they have canvassed for additional surveillance video and tips, and have contacted several residents in the areas. The areas are generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive and west of Highway 95. Detectives have also canvassed several other neighborhoods looking for evidence, looking for additional surveillance video, and contacting residents and speaking to them to see if they may have heard or seen something.
Now, at this point, everyone, you do need to take into effect that, what's up, Devil Doll? That, okay. Okay, Jules. We do need to take into effect that some of this stuff, what's going on, Devil Doll? That some of the stuff they're saying we did come to find out is not true. Okay. Jules says, okay, if you go to Moscow website, please get the pressures in chronological. All right, 1 second, then I guess this is not what you guys wanted. 1 second, then. Oh, done. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to load this way. One second. This might be louder too. This is listed as the first one on their website, so I guess my apologies, folks. All right, let's do it this way now. Sorry about that. This is definitely louder, so should be better for you guys to hear. Thanks, Jules, and sorry for that, folks.
Here. My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. I'm going to be reading from my notes today because I want the information you received to be extremely accurate. We know you have questions, and so do we. That is why we're here. I'd like to thank everyone for attending this press conference. Joining me today is the Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Provost and Vice President Tori Lawrence, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, Latah County Sheriff Richie Skiles, Chief Deputy of Latah County Tim Best, Idaho State Police Colonel Kedrick Wills. The Moscow Police Department would like to extend our condolences to all family members, friends, the University of Idaho, and the Moscow community. This was a horrible crime that took the lives of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves.
And Brandywine and
This
JoJo.
horrible crime has affected all of us, the families, the University of Idaho, our community, our country, and our officers.
Now, I will say, folks, since we're doing this from the beginning, I think somebody just said it in chat as well. If you have a notebook, you want to take notes, go for it. Watch the body language. Listen to the verbiage. It's stuff that we missed in the beginning because we were too worried about what the hell was going on. What's up, Rory? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for joining us as well. So like I said, all the way back to the very beginning, first press conference, watch the body language, listen to the verbiage, the things that they're saying, watch the hesitation, watch the questioning. All of that kind of stuff is what we're looking for at this point as we move forward with this. Thank you guys so very much. For those of you that just jumped in, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us, Annette McBee. This is the original press conference, Annette. We're starting from the beginning, going back to find what we missed. Chalk, baby, good to see you. And just rolling forward from here. Because we obviously missed something. We need to find it. That's what we're doing. Good to have you guys here. For those of you that just jumped in, appreciate you so very much. All right.
Agencies that are involved in this task force include Latah County Sheriff's Office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. As we continue our investigation, we have learned that Ethan and Xana were at a party on campus, and Madison and Kaylee were at a downtown bar. They arrived home sometime after 1:45. If anyone in our community or across our nation has any information about these times or the victim's whereabouts, please call our tip line at 208-883-7180. The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person. Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves inside the residence on King Road. The four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time.
Now, there we go, right there. Okay. These are the things that I want to catch, guys, because these things were changed multiple times. He just said the four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon's been found. Okay. Now, what did we hear? What are we talking about here, Junkin' Mama? Make what call? Bernice Rivera, good to see you. Like I said, the four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapons found. Now, we were told that it wasn't just a knife. They changed that, and it got a few days to a sharp-edged weapon of some sort. Did they or did they not? Okay. No mention of a sheath being found that day. This is 2 days later, folks. Or 3 days, I'm sorry, 3 days later. They didn't talk about the sheath here. That didn't come out till way down the road, if we remember correctly. So that's an odd scenario, in my opinion. I got you, Junkin' Mom. I know what you're talking about. Okay. We will look into that again. So, again, right off the bat, the four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been found. And then they change it. Listen to how many times things have been changed as we're watching. That's why we're watching these press conferences again. Okay. That's what this is all about. Welcome, Leslie. Good to have you. So let's move forward.
Time. There was no sign of forced entry into the residence. Investigators are continuing to collect evidence at the scene. Investigators are working to develop a timeline to relevant events. Autopsies are taking place today on all the victims so we can continue to gather evidence and solve the crime.
So we know that the autopsies were performed on November 16th. That's what he says. Okay. Keep that in mind. Put that in your notes. That's what we're doing, guys. We are tearing this apart piece by piece, like I do with all cases from the beginning. Okay. I'm even writing things down. Because if something comes out down the road, okay, that they try to say that the autopsies were done on a certain date. Well, he told us on November 16th of 2022 that they were done that day. So that's something else. But he knows that it's a knife. He says it right there too. Then they change it. This is what I'm saying. These things, verbiage is stupid important right now. And his, you know, the way he acts and stuff like that, you know, that's what I'm saying. See, Jules says they're going to act like they didn't say they found the sheath to not tip off the perp, but the real perp would know it was left there. So this makes it seem like absolutely. You are absolutely right, Jules. I know, Roy. He irritates a lot of us, I'll be honest with you. So, and Jules also says that we also need to keep in mind Ethan had a second autopsy on December 15th. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Thank you, Jules. But we don't know why the other ones. Why didn't the other ones have a second autopsy? It's interesting. Or if they did, why weren't we told that? You know what I mean? It's a great point. Great point. So, like I said, hang on to everything, guys. Take your notes if you need to. It's kind of interesting.
Investigators are working to follow up on all leads and to identify a person of interest. Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted attack on our victims. We do not have a suspect at this time.
That is a big one for me. Isolated, targeted attack. Okay. So he's saying that this was an isolated incident, but it was a targeted attack on these victims. Just saying.
Time, and that individual is still out there. We cannot say that there's no threat to the community. And as we have stated, please stay vigilant, report any suspicious activity, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. What we don't know, the identity and location of the suspect, the location of the knife or any clothing that was worn by the suspect.
The knife. The knife. He keeps saying that one thing, the knife. He is very nervous, I'm sure. Welcome, Rachel. They've never had anything like this at this point, guys. He's nervous as hell because he doesn't know how to react to this, okay? Welcome, Jamie. Good to see you.
Currently, we have 25 plus investigators working this case, as well as assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Idaho State Police.
This is 3 days after the unalivings and FBI is involved. We know that right there, okay? 25 investigators plus ISP as well as FBI at this point. 3 days in. From what I understand, FBI was involved immediately, but we don't know for a fact. So, you know, it is what it is. I promise you I won't stop this at every second, but there's a few things that do need to be paid attention to, I'm saying.
We're reviewing video that has been collected, but we are asking citizens to contact us with any information you may have that will help in this investigation. Once again, we're asking anyone with a to call the tip line at 208-883-7180. At this time, I would like to introduce the University of Idaho President, Scott Green.
So they're reviewing video that was collected, I'm guessing from the house next door and or across the street. And who was it that just made that comment? I think it was Annie. I might be wrong. 3 days later, they don't have the description. So they're telling me, in my opinion, that they did not have that conversation with Dylan yet. 3 days later, that conversation should have happened in the very beginning, the first day, right? So what's wrong here? $11:12 had the camera, right? Well, we were looking at a camera possibly across the street as well. I don't know if Rory made it over there to see that or not, but we did ask about that. So, but yeah, to me, I would think that conversation should have been done with Dylan the day of, 3 days beforehand, right? They should have that description of the bushy eyebrowed person at that point, but they're not giving it here. Why is that? See, I never caught that before. That's why we're doing this, you guys. That's weird. That's odd to me that they're not putting that description out already. Okay, so did they not talk to Dylan that night or that day, or have they not talked to her yet? This is weird. This should have been the first thing done. That's what's making me hear that. Did you hear that reply, Diego? Which reply are you talking about? Change. All right, bro. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, he's definitely trembling, guys. He's got some kind of a nervous issue going on right here for sure. That's a good point, Paladin. Why were there 2 autopsies needed for Ethan? Did they do both? Or did they do both autopsies on everybody or just him? These are the things that we need to look at. And again, I want to know, the biggest thing I have an issue with at this very moment is why did we not get a description of the bushy eyebrows clad in black person that made her, stand in a froze shock phase? Why? That should have been done the first day on the 13th. Those were the 2 witnesses to this. They should have been interviewed on that day, and we should have had that already, but we don't have that yet. There's a problem there. I never caught that before till today. Ethan's second autopsy was done in Spokane, guys, just so you know. Thank you, Jules. Appreciate you for that. All right, moving forward. Sorry, Jennifer, this was on November 16th, 2022.
Thank you, Chief Fry. I'm Scott Green, president of the University of Idaho, and with me is Tori Lawrence. He's our provost, and Blaine Eccles, our dean of students, will be available for questions after all of the statements are made. The crime, to us, this crime and the loss of these young lives is
Morning, Gina, darling. Thanks for
beyond
joining us.
comprehension. While our small community is certainly not immune to such things, it's not a situation our close-knit campus is used to dealing with. First, my deepest condolences to the families. And friends of Ethan, Kaylee, Zena, and Madison. Excuse me.
Thank you for joining us, Pixie. And
Their
KP.
loss has been devastating, and they were bright lights in our community and are deeply missed and remain in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working with Moscow police since we were notified on Sunday of the crime. We've helped when asked and continually pushed for information whenever possible. knowing that we cannot interfere with the important work and good investigations that are occurring. We just want justice for these victims. Our focus at the university is to support our students.
All right, let me slow the chat, guys. Hold on. Sorry about that. I don't automatically do it because sometimes it doesn't always flow like that. But either way, I guess it's moving a little quick. So I got you guys. My apologies. My apologies. So just take a second. We'll get right back to it. Yeah, I'm kind of bothered by that. That should have been something that was done immediately, but it wasn't, obviously. Or they're just not talking about it right now, which is a little odd to me, but you know, it is what it is. All right, back to the lecture at hand. All right, moving on.
And our employees. We are encouraging students and employees to take care of themselves as we head into Thanksgiving break. I want to take a moment to commend our faculty and staff who have been on the front lines helping our students,
What's up, Richard?
whether that is
Rumsey?
providing counseling to those in need of support, accommodating those who want to travel home, or engaging those who find comfort in
I'm
staying
sure,
busy
Nina.
interacting with their peers and our instructors in class. Our employees stepped up when our students needed them. While we have relied heavily on the expertise of Moscow Police, we feel confident that remaining open with flexibility to leave allows our students to decide what is best for them. The weeks ahead will continue to challenge us as this loss and the circumstances around this crime become known. We will support each other
Welcome,
as we
Adam and
grieve,
Proton.
and we'll move through this together as a Vandal family. Thank you.
I would like to have Colonel Kedrick Wills come to the podium, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Kedrick Wills. I serve as the director of the Idaho State Police. And as we have this discussion today, I'd like to express my appreciation for your attendance here because it's important, vitally important, that we get the information that we have out to the public. Crime knows no boundaries, and these murders have shaken us to our very core. You heard the university president as well as the chief of police talk about this small community, and it's a very close, tight-knit community. And our hearts break for the families that lost their loved ones, the University of Idaho, the Moscow community, and even within our entire state. Be assured, the Idaho State Police is firmly in support of the work that the Moscow Police Department is doing, and we are providing every resource that we can to make sure that this comes to a conclusion, and the person or people that this is responsible are brought to justice. It's so important that you understand that this takes a team effort. This is teamwork with the university, with this Moscow City Police Department, the Latah County Sheriff's Office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It takes everybody to be able to do this. And it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act of getting the community the information that they need to have with making sure that we provide a case that the Latah County Prosecutor's Office can go forward with. Governor Little, Idaho's governor, full weight of all the resources we have within our state are available to Chief Fry and to his team. Our crime lab is also involved with processing evidence, and our law enforcement throughout the region, state and federal agencies continue to provide resources. From the Idaho State Police's perspective, we provided detectives here from this area, as well as detectives from out of the area, state police detectives, as well as patrol resources and communications assistance as well to provide for Chief Fry and his team. Following this briefing, our communications director from the Idaho State Police, Aaron Snell, if you'd raise your hand, Aaron, he will be the contact for all press media inquiries from here on out. He'll be working closely with Chief Fry and his team. And we have additional, like I said, additional patrol and investigation resources brought to bear here as well. We want to do everything we can to make sure that this is done correctly and that the people that are responsible for this are brought to justice.
So this
Okay, so it just come through that prosecution is seeking the death penalty. I'm sure we were going to hear about that by tomorrow too, but it is what it is. Well, I mean, at this point, guys, they have been called out, stating that there's nothing that connects him to this. Of course, they're going after the death penalty. Now they're pushing for everybody to think that they wouldn't go after the death penalty unless he was guilty, right? Okay. Well, welcome, Amanda Meow. Good to see you. Wizard Walt, good to have you. Yeah, I mean, I got it, Miss Dick. Thank you. Yep. That's sad. They can seek it. Let them seek it. They got to prove it first. Remember that? So that's what we're looking for, folks. If they can prove somehow that he did this with nothing, then hey, defense is still seeking PA body cam. We'll see what happens. Moving forward.
It's time. I'm going to open it up to some questions that I'm sure you have, and we'll do the best we can to answer those for you.
Hello, Chief Ray.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. I'm Amanda Rowley with Creme 2 News. You mentioned that there's an indication that it's an isolated, targeted incident, and there is an individual somewhere. Can you give us a reason as to why there's that belief there is a suspect? Can you also give a little more information on the forced entry? There's no sign.
Now, you guys listen to these questions and watch the reactions that are had to the questions and how they're answered. This is what's important right here, in my opinion.
No forced entry, but was the door, did it seem like any of the entries were left unlocked by any means?
I'll answer the last part there just because it's at the front end of my mind. We're not 100% sure if the door was unlocked, but there was no damage to anything, and the door was still open when we got there.
Well, there's the answer to that the door was still open when they got there. But that doesn't say anything, guys, because there was people there before them, okay? Seriously. So it's either that the door was left open or somebody went into the door. And that's what I want to know. Was it the front door or the back door? Come on now, Chief.
And my first question,
Yeah.
if you'd like me to read.
No, I think I haven't. In these cases, we take the totality of the things that we see, and they're very dynamic, right? And they're very big, and there's a lot of information, and we try to take that information, and some of it we can't share with you, correct? But we try to take that information, we try to make the best educated decision we can. We review that as a team with our detectives, along with our prosecutors, along with the university, and we try to make that best decision on that. So we, at that time,
Linda DaCosta says they said back door. I didn't hear that. Let me go back here and see.
Correctly. And
An indication that it's an isolated, targeted incident, and there is an individual somewhere. Can you give us a reason as to why there's that belief there is a suspect? Can you also give a little more information on the forced entry? There's no sign of forced entry, but was the door, did it seem like any of the entries were left unlocked by any means?
I'll answer the last part there just because it's at the front end of my mind. We're not 100% sure if the door was unlocked, but there was no damage to anything, and the door was still open when we got there.
And my first question,
Yeah.
if you'd like me to read.
No, I think I haven't. In these cases, we take the totality of the things that we see, and they're very dynamic, right? They're very big. There's a lot of information, and we try to take that information, and some of it we can't share with you, correct? But we try to take that information. We try to make the best educated decision we can. We review that as a team with our detectives, along with our prosecutors, along with the university, and we try to make that best decision on that. So we, at that time, believe that there was no a threat, and our goal is to provide safety for this community. That's why we're bringing in the resources we're bringing. We want a close to this, and we want to do everything we can to let the people in our community know.
Thank you so very much, Latina. $49.99 super sticker again. You guys are amazing today. Thank you so very much for that. I am so very appreciative. More than you know. Thank you so much. You are amazing.
That we care. We want them to feel safe. We want them to be safe. And we're going to do everything we can to do that.
And if I could add one more question. You asked for videos or anything from the community to help put together that timeline. We obtained a copy of Twitch video, and family members of the Gonsalves family were able to identify Maddie and Kaylee in those videos at a food truck ordering food. Is the police department, our investigators, aware of that video, and has it helped put together that timeline?
We are aware of that video, and it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we know that two of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can and continue to gather those.
Any indication of a party at the home that night?
And this will be the last one. Okay, I understand. Not that we know of, not at the home.
Okay, now, did you see how he reacted to that question? Not that we know of. And he hesitated on it. No, Eddie, they didn't say that. Not that I caught, but again, welcome, Jilly Bean. He hesitated, and then he stuttered, and then he said, not that we know of. That's kind of interesting, folks.
Home. We know that the other... let me get the names exactly right here. We know that Zaina and Ethan were at a different party on campus. But that timeline will still help us if other people know about that.
Thank you.
Chief Wright, John Webb with KHQ. On September 12th, there was a vandal alert that was sent out about a potential stabbing threat on Paradise Path. Does this have any connection with what we've seen so far?
Not that we know of it, but we're following up every lead. Every piece of information we get, we are following up to ensure that nothing has gone unturned. We want to have the individual identified, who is the suspect of this eventually. So we are literally looking into every aspect of everything.
And you guys have said repeatedly that there's no threat to the public, but we don't know who the suspect is. We don't know where he's at. How is there no threat to the public at this point?
Well, that's kind of an unknown. Like I said, we took the information that we had at the time, but we do need to be aware the individual is still out there, right? We need to be vigilant. We need to watch out for our neighbors. We're a community policing community. We've said that for years, and it's a community that watches out for each other. We need to continue to do that until we can close this off and make an arrest.
Why has there been such limited information over the past couple of days? I mean, we're almost 4 days into this. Why has it been so limited?
Yeah, it's a difficult, we have a lot of information coming in, and, we have tried to push out some information through press releases. But the reality is, I probably should have been standing here a day or so ago, but I'm here now. We're going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to give you the information we can. We care about this community. I care about this community. I've worked here for 27 years. I want this community to be the safest community around. So
the mayor's called it a crime of passion. Is there any indication that that's true?
We're looking into every aspect of this. I'm not going to stipulate whether it's one thing or another. We're going to continue to investigate until we have the facts, because really it's the facts that will drive what the cause of this is. And as we gather evidence, we'll get that. So.
Okay. One last question, if I could, Chief. Have we looked at any boyfriends or any ex-boyfriends, any spouses as a potential suspect?
I will tell you, we are looking at everyone. Every tip we get, every lead we get, there's no one that we're not going to talk to. There's no one we're not going to interview. There's no one that we're not going to look into. And we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to make sure that nothing goes unturned. We do everything we can with the assistance of all the resources we have to get a final answer.
Thanks, Chief.
So there were, sorry, I'm Emma Epperly with the Spokes Interview. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home at that time, but we're not just focusing just on them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
And then did so there were, sorry, I'm Emma Epperly with the Spokes Interview. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home at that time, but we're not just focusing just on them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
Why did he hesitate on that? I mean, am I wrong? Did it seem like he hesitated? It kind of did, just a little bit. Maybe it's me, but it
just
seems
on
like
them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
And then did they didn't call it into police? So were they injured?
They were not injured, but like I said, we're still following up with everybody that could have been in that area.
And how can you say it's a targeted attack if you don't have a suspect?
Like I said, we take the totality of the situation. We try to make the best
I'm going
bit of
to
information we can with everything that comes in, and then we make our decision off of that. So at this time, I'm not going to expand upon that. But like I've said, we do have out somewhere, and we are looking for that individual to solve this.
Hi, Rachel Sun, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I just want to clarify something you said earlier. Over the past couple of days, the information that we've been getting is there's not a threat to the public. And earlier I heard you say you can't be assured that there is no threat. I just want to clarify what your stance is on that at this time.
So we still believe it's a targeted attack, but the reality is there's still out there who committed 4 horrible crimes. So I think we got to go back to there is a threat out there still, possibly. We don't know. We don't believe it's going to be to anybody else, but we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
Okay, and then one other follow-up. I know you said when the call came in, it was for an unconscious person, and also that was a stabbing. It seems, just from an outside perspective looking in, like that would be not the first thing a person calling in would think.
You're right. But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious, that we found the scene that we found.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Right. But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious, that we found the scene that we found.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that again. It wasn't until we went in to we got a call for an unconscious person, and it wasn't until we went in to give care to the unconscious person that they found, the scene that they found. So someone touched them, right? Who are we talking about, Chalk Baby? I thought it did too, Dolphin. I wasn't sure. They're quite, you're right, Dana. I agree with that.
Chances on that at this time.
So we still believe it's a targeted attack, but the reality is there's still out there who committed 4 horrible crimes. So I think we got to go back to there is a threat out there still, possibly. We don't know. We don't believe it's going to be to anybody else, but we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
Okay, and then one other follow-up. I know you said when the call came in, it was for an unconscious person, and also that was a stabbing. It seems, just from an outside perspective looking in, like that would be not the first thing a person calling in would think.
You're right. But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious that
we're still working on getting there, Rory. I think we all want to know that question.
Found the scene that we found.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked. So the other 2 roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that, yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there...
Why didn't he just answer that with a clear yes? That's what I don't understand. These answers, the way he answers questions bothers me, folks. It really does.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked. So the other 2 roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that, yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, we don't know why.
And there it is. So I don't think I ever said they were witnesses. I said they were there. Why did he have to do that, guys? Come on. This is why we're doing this. Welcome, Sky. This is kind of this. I don't know, but like I said, I know we're picking apart every little thing, but that's why we're supposed to be doing that. Okay. Exactly, Paladin. You're making a huge point, bro. Seriously. This press conference is clearly where the lies began. They are giving us a lot of bullshit here. Facts. Okay, facts. I mean, this is ridiculous, folks. This is not straightforward, straight on, straight answers. None of it. It's just, it's crazy. Moving forward.
Why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
Were they one of the people, were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 caller is.
And why is that such a big deal? I want to know that. Why is that such a big deal? I don't think it was one of those 2 girls. They said that they led to believe that it was one of those 2 because it came from one of their phones. I don't think it was. Okay, that's a fact. And I think that being what it is a problem for this. I think it has been from the beginning.
just because I want to keep the integrity of the investigation at this point. Okay.
Okay. And last question, are you able to tell whether the same weapon was used on all 4 victims?
You know, that's why we're having the autopsies done. The autopsy will confirm that and hopefully collect some evidence for us, even from those. That's why you do the autopsies, is to try to be thorough and try to gather more. So we'll leave that would probably be something that would come out later.
Okay.
Excuse me, Derek Shug, Fox News Digital. Was there anything missing in the home, or were the purses still there? Any robbery attempt, anything like that?
Nothing that we have identified. And I'm going to take about.
And again, how would they even know that? How would they know what's missing or not missing? You know what I mean? Because they don't know these people. I'm not saying that that's a big deal, guys. I'm just saying these are some. I don't know. I'm just not comfortable with this. I never was comfortable with this. Well, it's due to the integrity of the case, supposedly, Rory. That's their answer to that question. But you know how that goes.
Two more questions. All right.
Hi, I'm Tim with the Daily Evergreen. I was just wondering, were the 2 other individuals present at the home when police responded at noon?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was the first clear, quick answer he's given through this whole thing. Yes. So we do know that Dylan and Bethany were there when police responded. Bingo.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those 2 people. Was it 2 people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to. And I'm going to take about 2 more questions. All right.
Hi, I'm Tim with the Daily Evergreen. I was just wondering, were the 2 other individuals present at the home when police responded at noon?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those 2 people. Was it 2 people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So,
Okay. I don't know if it's me, but I think that he's getting ready to say, I'm not going to go into what they saw, and hurried up and said "shirred" instead of "saw." He was trying to say "heard" real quick and said "shirred." If I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's what just happened.
Circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
well, I'm not going to go into what they shared.
"Shirred." Yeah, as if he was going to say what they saw, and hurried up and said "heard." Wow. I never caught that before. Yeah, for sure. Anyway. Wow. Okay. Moving forward.
That night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So at that, as far as that goes, we're not going to go any further into what they know and what they don't know.
How many were there?
We believe 2.
Chief, have you looked into the social media account?
Hold on a minute.
Into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think he said we're not going to go into what they shared as into what they saw or heard. So that may have not been me. They're trying to build a story. Yeah, right. Okay.
Investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So at that, as far as that goes, we're not going to go any further into what they know and what they don't know.
How many were there?
We believe 2.
Why is it we believe 2? Why is it just not there were 2 people? We believe 2 because they don't. I told you guys, he said before there were more people there. Okay. I'm telling you, this is crazy. If you really listen to this.
Chief, have you looked into the social media accounts of all the different victims? Do you, we understand that one may have had an account linked to her Instagram account. Have you looked into those accounts? Have you seen any sort of threats made to any of the individuals?
So we are looking at all resources. You know, we got, like I said, the Federal Bureau of Investigation helping us. We got our detectives, our forensic detectives looking into that. We're trying to pull this whole picture. We're looking at everything that we can look at, social media, etc. So to answer your question, yes, we are.
Were the victims all found in one part of the house?
I'm not going to divulge that either. That's part of our investigation. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close this off. But if you'd like to, if you have any questions for the university, we'll open that up at this point in time.
Who has not had a chance to ask a question? Yes, over here.
Here and then here.
Oh, okay, thanks. Actually, I had a question for the chief, so I don't know.
Okay, well, you want to pass it?
Okay. What is the university doing to make their students feel safe?
Yeah, great question. At this time, I think I'll turn this over to Blaine, who's been dealing directly with our students and dealing with those that truly still feel unsafe despite some of the assurances and things that we're doing. Blaine?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. A question of safety is on everyone's mind right now. We have increased campus safety patrols. Our executive director of campus safety and security, Jake Nichols, is out of the way actually here, and so I'm sure he'd be able to answer some of those questions. We have a campus safety escort where students can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to arrange for a security escort to be escorted across campus during the day or night. It doesn't matter at any point in time. We're also providing resources to students to help them navigate through this from an emotional standpoint. We've had drop-in counseling that has been utilized both in our counseling center as well as the student union building. And we're also supporting students, like President Green indicated, that if they want to leave and go home now, they absolutely can. We're going to support them in doing so. Many students have questions about their academics and whatnot, but this is a very dynamic, fluid situation, and we want to make sure we're supporting students and their families to get through this the way that they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Washington State University is about 8 miles that way. What would you suggest that Wazoo does to make their students feel safe if they're unsafe?
Yeah, communication and encouraging students to reach out and use resources. That's a fantastic campus. I talked to their dean of students office yesterday, and they are mobilizing their support resources. All campuses have supports in place. Students just need to make sure they're leaning in and reaching out to it. And many times students don't, but we encourage that, absolutely.
Hi, this is Hadia Thark with the Argonaut. This may be a question for Scott Green or Blaine Eccles. So with the decision to cancel classes on Monday, while I understand the university is trying to remain flexible for students, why has class not been canceled for the remainder of the week?
Well, because a number of our students still want to go to class. They gain comfort in being around their other students. They gain comfort from interacting and staying busy with their faculty and attending classes, labs. Some are working on their semester projects. So we've heard from them. At the same time, we want to provide the ability for any student who did not feel comfortable staying around, who did not want, who was unable to process that way, that they had that opportunity to go, and we've been helping them as well. All these absences are excused. We've asked our faculty to work with those students who chose to go. So we felt this is the best way, to respond, to give as much flexibility as we could to our students and our faculty to help manage the situation. And frankly, I think they've done a very, very good job. Thank you.
Is the university working with the parents or the families of the victims? Are you in touch with them?
They are. I'll turn that back over to Blaine. I know he's been we both have been in contact with the families, but he's been very close to it. And so, Blaine, you want to take that question?
Absolutely. One of the hardest jobs I have is talking to parents of students who have died. It's the absolute worst part of my job. And so I've reached out and made contact with all the families. We've offered our support. And we're going to stay in constant contact with them. I communicated with them almost every day. We usually give it a little space and time before we reach out, just for the sheer shock of absorbing the loss of a child and what that looks like. But we're going to stay in support of them moving forward for the weeks and months to come, and in whatever capacity they need.
We've talked to a few of them and they've expressed some frustration with the lack of communication from investigators and from the officials involved on that side of it. Has the university heard that from them? How are you working with them to help kind of close that communication gap?
Sure. I do know that Captain Barrett from the Moscow Police Department is also in constant contact with them. He reaches out to them on a regular basis. From that standpoint, I think it's safe to say everyone, the families most of all, want information, and they want justice. And I can't do anything but honor what their needs are and what they are. Whenever I hear a concern from the family members about what's going on, I definitely make sure I communicate that to the Moscow Police Department. They're very busy. They're working, the men and women of this department are working really hard on their behalf and on our community's behalf. But if I can be a conduit to share information, we're absolutely going to do that.
Has there been any update on the candlelight vigil that is postponed till after the break?
I believe it's November 30th.
November 30th.
November
What time?
We're looking at 5 or 5:30. We're trying to finalize. Well, let me say,
Yeah.
there was a candlelight vigil that was originally scheduled tonight, but because of the volume of students who have left, we want to make sure we're creating a space where they can participate. We don't want someone driving back during this time to do that. So we've rescheduled to November 30th. We haven't finalized the time. We will definitely be sharing that out to our students in our community and the larger community. We're just finalizing some details. We're going to communicate that with the families as well. It'll be on campus. We haven't figured out the location yet because we're going to be monitoring what the weather looks like. We anticipate a large amount of individuals. That being said, we also have 2 communities that are just providing beautiful support. There's a candlelight vigil in Boise tonight in honor of our lost students. And there's also a candlelight vigil tonight in Coeur d'Alene. And I say nothing but thank you and for the love and support from those communities that are supporting us. And we've seen that support come across the country and around the world for the University of Idaho and these families. And so it's a beautiful thing.
President Green, can you talk a little bit about the vandal alert that involved the knife and how the university handled it and what you found in that case?
Yeah, so basically we were just responding to the information that we had from the Moscow Police Department at that time. We have an incident response team. We gathered Sunday as we were notified by the Moscow Police Department that there had been a crime committed. At the time, we weren't sure if they were students or not, and we wanted to provide help to the Moscow Police Department, and we think we were able to do that successfully to help them, identify those students and contact their relatives. So, beyond that, it was just trying to understand what the assessment was of the risk to the campus. And we relied on our subject matter experts, as you've heard. They know more than any of us about this. And then based on that, we started making decisions about, how to move forward this week.
Yeah. And so what were those decisions around that initial alert? What was the conclusion you had at that point about the level of risk?
Well, of course, your first, on the first vandal alert, it was high risk. We had really no information, and we asked our students to shelter in place, and until we got the all clear, it wasn't all clear, but a reduced risk where we could where students could start to move around more freely. We had people sheltering in places like the library and the Pittman Center and places around campus. And we didn't want to keep them there all night if we didn't have to. And so as soon as Moscow Police Department determined that it was safe for them to begin moving around but be vigilant, we sent the other vandal alerts.
Yeah, my apologies. I was referring to the earlier vandal alert involving the threatening with the knife that happened in September.
Yeah, you want to respond to that? Thank you, Blaine.
So, vandal alert, we had a group of students walking back to Greek Row from a location off campus. They encountered an individual who was not affiliated with the university. They got into, from my understanding, a verbal altercation, and he ended up flashing a knife at them. It was not a stabbing. It was not a stabbing attack. It was a threat to the best that we know. We sent out a vandal alert warning the individuals of our campus community at that time. I don't have the specific date, but it's out there from that aspect of it. And it's my understanding that individual then later turned himself into law enforcement, and they've addressed what that happens.
So it's not connected in any way to this homicide?
That's a question for law enforcement.
You know who he is?
September 12th. I know about the incident. I don't know the individual because he's not affiliated with the university. So my understanding, he turned himself into law enforcement. So I can't answer the question of whether he's connected with this or not.
So we want to thank you again for coming. That's going to be all the questions we take at this time. We appreciate you coming and spending time with us, and we will continue to put out information as we have time. And we want to reassure the community that the Moscow Police Department and everybody working with us will do everything we can. We love this community. We've a lot of us have went to the University of Idaho, and we are vandals, and we will do everything we can to solve this. Thank you.
All right, that covered that one, which was quite interesting to say the least, in my opinion. Where are we at here? Sorry, guys. So again, guys, we didn't get a whole lot of info out of that, and I know that they cannot. You know, the first, they're not going to give us a whole lot of info. Okay, that's a fact. We all know that. But I was uncomfortable with the way he answered certain questions, in my opinion. That was me. Me personally. So, all right, now. Okay, so we got that covered. We move back down here. I always like using this one here to get things started with, because it kind of groups a bunch of things together, and we can break things down as we need to with this. So,
on November.
All right, here we go.
Do we need anything for the store? November 13th, 2022, these 4 university students were discovered stabbed in their home in Moscow, Idaho. Local police described the case as very complex, and it took more than 6 weeks for a suspect to be arrested. We pieced together information from a case affidavit released by authorities, verified publicly available evidence, and pulled in ABC News reporting to create a visual timeline outlining significant events in this case. I'm Emmanuel Saliba, a senior reporter with ABC News. It's around 9 p.m. local time on Saturday, November 12th in Moscow, Idaho. According to an affidavit released by authorities, Zana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin are seen hanging out at the Sigma Chi house. It's about a 5-minute walk from their off-campus house on King Road. Zana's roommates Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan are at the Corner Club. It's a historic sports bar in town. They stay at the bar for about 3 hours, according to an affidavit released by authorities. And around 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie leave the corner bar. The next available images we have of them are in this surveillance footage obtained by ABC News. They're heading towards a local food truck, which is about a 6-minute walk from the bar. Police say this man with them is not a suspect. This is the grub truck. They have been streaming live on Twitch since about 10 p.m. And around 1...
No, we're running through this here just as a quick, but then we're going to go back, and each one of these things we're going to spend some time on, okay? That's a fact, folks, just so you know. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, anything before we go forward? We're going to look at things different than we did last time. Because there's certain things that we know now don't exist and things that we do know for a fact exist. So, all right.
41A.
What date was this report? This was put out I don't know why these don't have any dates on them. This came from ABC News 7, Chicago. Uh, 5 months ago. That's all it gives me. It doesn't give me an exact date, but it was 5 months ago.
Yeah, we see all three of them walk into frame. Maddie and Kaylee order food.
Have a good night. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I would like the carbonara.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
How many more do you need? That's the second one? Awesome.
Don's mom.
$10.
Cool. Thank you.
47. Thank you very much.
They wait around for about 10 minutes. Around 1:51 a.m., they grab food from the truck window and walk out of frame. Police confirm that at this point they get picked up by a car service, and about 6 minutes later, they arrive at home on King Road. According to an affidavit, Ethan and Zana are already in the house along with two other roommates. 2:47 a.m., according to police, a phone belonging to the suspect, Brian Koberger, stops connecting to the cell network in nearby Pullman, Washington. This is where he lives and studies criminology as a PhD student at Washington State University. 2:53 a.m., authorities say a white sedan consistent with a vehicle registered to Koberger is seen traveling towards the highway that connects Pullman and Moscow. It's only about a 10-mile drive between the two cities. At 3:29 a.m., surveillance footage obtained by police from the King Road neighborhood captures a white sedan making an initial drive by the victim's house. Authorities say this car will make another 2 passes in the next 30 minutes. It's 4 a.m. According to the affidavit, Zana receives a DoorDash delivery, and a source tells ABC News that the delivery is contactless and the order is left at the front door. A surviving roommate would later tell authorities that around this time, 4 a.m., she wakes up to what sounds like Kaylee playing with her dog in the room on the 3rd floor. She also reports hearing someone say, "There's someone here." 4:04 a.m., authorities say the white sedan is seen driving into the neighborhood a 4th time. 4:12 a.m., according to phone records obtained by police, Zana is awake and using TikTok. The affidavit states that the same surviving roommate says she hears what sounds like crying coming from Zana's room. She opens her door a second time and says she hears a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At 4:17 a.m., this security camera on a neighbor's home picks up distorted audio of what sounds like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times. This camera is less than 50 feet from Zana's bedroom. The affidavit states the surviving roommate then opens her door a 3rd time. She sees a masked man walking past her towards the sliding glass door in the kitchen. In frozen shock, she locks her door. 4:20 a.m., police say the white sedan is seen leaving the neighborhood at a high rate speed. 5:25 a.m., authorities say that same vehicle is seen on 5 cameras back in the Pullman area, near where the suspect lives. And then, between 9:12 and 9:21 a.m., police say data collected shows the suspect's phone appearing near the scene of the murders. About 8 hours after the killings, a 911 call reports an unconscious person at the scene of the crime. Shortly after, Moscow police discover the bodies of 4 students.
The facts of the case that we know right now.
November 16th, police reveal the 4 victims were stabbed to death.
The 4 were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time.
We are eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him.
This is Ethan's mom on November 30th at a vigil honoring her son and the 3 other victims.
That's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
We're looking for a 2011 to a 2013 Hyundai Elantra.
December 7th, no suspects have been publicly identified and Moscow police appeal to the public for help.
Any assistance you can give us, anybody that owns one, anybody that knows of someone who owns one. Or now, there's one of the main issues right there. December 7th, he comes out saying that they're looking for a 2011, December 2013 Elantra. Okay. Once again, that was December 7th when he says this.
Precious, and it's something you can't get back.
We're looking for a 2011 to a 2013 Hyundai Elantra.
December 7th, no suspects have been publicly identified and Moscow police appeal to the public for help.
Any assistance you can give us, anybody that owns one, anybody that knows of someone who owns one or may have been driving one, if you could get a hold of us through our tip line or call us directly, we'd appreciate that.
December 15th, Koberger.
Now that right, commercial, right. I couldn't tell you guys. Cryptic Conversions, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. D Smalls, welcome. Good to have you. Yeah, I don't know what the smile thing is about. Maybe he's just trying to be friendly for the camera and the reporter. Let me see here. So this is just running through the timeline. We're going back to these things one by one, and we're gonna. Shirley Harris, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Excuse me. Don't Die. The Raging Cajuns in the house. Good to have you. The 360 Life. Welcome from the UK. It's good to have you guys here. All these new faces are great to see. Thank you for joining us. Adelax, good to see you. We're going to be analyzing the grub truck thing again, too, guys. I promise you. I know you guys probably are sick of it. Nina Kane, good to see you. But it's what we got to do, guys. KP, if I didn't say hi, good to see you. H, good to see you. All you guys, thanks for joining us. The Richard, always happy to see you, brother. All right.
And his father are driving eastbound on I-70 when they get pulled over by a Hancock County Sheriff's deputy.
Hello, how you doing?
Now, that first one was December 15th at 10:41 a.m. I know somebody was questioning the time that day to both of them. So that first one was 10:41 a.m. Exactly, Evie. Good point. Get a clue. Good to have you here. Chief Fry is scheduled to be on Dancing with the Stars. No way. That's crazy.
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh. You're going to be going to Pennsylvania. Oh, okay. Yep.
We're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
They're driving across the country to their family home in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Well, do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay?
10 minutes later, they are pulled over again, but this time by Indiana State Police.
So the other one was 10:50 p.m. or a.m. Sorry, on the same day, as we know. What's up, my man?
Both departments would later say they had no identifying information on the suspect at the time of these stops or the alleged vehicle involved. The Indiana State Police added in another statement that its agency wasn't directed by the FBI to make the traffic stop.
Okay, so the first one was Indiana State Police. The second one was that sheriff's deputy. Just to be sure. I think we had that backwards the other day.
15 days later, Koberger is arrested in Pennsylvania. The FBI identified the suspect by linking DNA evidence from the crime scene to a public genealogy database. January 3rd, he is extradited back to Idaho, where he is charged with felony burglary and 4 counts of first-degree murder. In a statement, his extradition lawyer in Pennsylvania said his client was eager to be exonerated. The suspect remains in custody, awaiting his next court appearance in June.
Sorry, guys. There's that point. The apocalypse. I see it now. Do you know which officer pulled him over at night in Moscow? We will be getting there. Cyber Ninja, good to see you. Thank you, guys. I know I'm muted. Thank you. Can you hear me now? The first pullover was, in my opinion, BT. Good to see you. 1 second, folks. Hang on, guys. Okay, now I want to do something a little different here. All right, we've seen a real quick glimpse of how things went down on the timeline. Okay, give me a second here. I want somebody else, because I remember this, but it's been a while. And I know this is ridiculous. Some people probably don't want to see or hear this. There's a reason why I want to watch this, and I kind of want to take this apart a little bit. And then we're going to go back and we're going to be hitting different things, okay? Sorry about that, higher ground. Let's try this again. This is a little different. You guys should be able to hear this. And the only reason why we're listening to this is because no, I'm not at all. Get a clue. Not at all. And don't look forward to that at all, because I won't be doing that. I'm not a big fan of hers. Mr. Jeff H., welcome back, my friend. It's good to see you. If it was the first Indiana stop that the camera was mostly pointed at the ground, I wonder if that's the reason for a second pullover. It's a good point. That's actually a really good point, Jeff. And thank you for pointing that out. Where'd it go? Let's see that again. If it was the first Indiana stop that the camera was mostly pointed at the ground, I wonder if that's the reason for a second pullover. One moment, folks. All right, guys. Sorry about that. That's Mama Bear. She's jumping in too. But yeah, that is a good point. And I have always had issue believing that both the stops were not related to FBI probability, in my opinion. So thank you for that point, Jeff. I appreciate that. Diego trying to recall the video where Moscow PD said that on a video why the EMT fire were not permitted on the scene. This is the beginning of the cover up, my opinion. That's a big issue I have as well, Sherry. And I will be finding that as well because I wanted to know that myself. Because that is standard operating procedure for a call such as what it was. We're going to be listening to this because I want, once again, to hear what Enan, the neighbor, perspective and point of view was on this. Chat on your screen is super slow. Okay. It is slow. It's at 30. I have it slowed down to 30 higher ground, hon. I can't, if I go any lower, it will be like stopped. I'm so sorry. Once I get moving again, we'll see if it keeps going. Eddie says, Digger, that during the first traffic stop, the camera could be seen, and the second stop, the body cam was pointed at the ground. Right, exactly. And they weren't both handled the same way. Now, I don't know if that was because one was from ISP and the other one was because of the sheriff's deputy. I don't know, but it's very possible. The link is in chat. Mama Bear, go ahead. So I want to see what his reaction is again and to what he says and hears and see if anything seems any different for what we know now. Okay. And welcome to the Mama Bear.
Hi.
Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. So again, we're going to be listening to what Enan had to say as the neighbor, trying to avoid all of his other weird antics and stuff like that. But focus on what he has to say about being the neighbor, what he saw and heard that day or that night, because that is kind of important. And we never really went over this in the past. Okay. We kind of blew it off a little bit. And I get it, Evie. I absolutely get it. But that's what we're focusing on is what he has to say, guys.
Hello, everyone. This is Lauren Matthias. Please subscribe and hit the like button so you can get these unexpected live streams. I have a very important guest with me right now, somebody that I hope can bring us more insight. I am with, will you pronounce your name? Enan?
Enon Harsh.
Enon Harsh. Also known as Chef Dizzy, as you see there. Enon is a very, very important part of this Moscow homicide investigation because he was a neighbor of the 4 victims who lived on King Street. And I just want you to share with us what you know. Many also have heard of the neighbor that possibly heard a scream. This is that person that I have with me now. So let everyone know this is going on. We'll try to take some questions as well, but right now I'm going to start with my questions because I have a lot of them. I want to thank you for being here. And first off, I think we should just start by taking us back to that night. The things I've heard in the news from you, Enon, are that it was an unexpectedly quiet night. You wrote about the crime on social media, and share what you remember from that night. Is that a good place for us to start right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I work about like 10, usually like 9 to 11-hour shifts. So I went to work. I got off around, I think it was around 12 that night. It was kind of like a late close, and I like bullshitted with like a coworker for a little while after work, and then I went home. It was around, I don't know, like 1:30, 2-ish a.m. Was maybe when I got home, maybe and I'm always like kind of hoping that I have like a parking spot right in front of my door when I get there, because like lots of times on campus, there's like parties and like they're pretty full. And so like this time I noticed that like, I don't know, it wasn't really any cars as usual. I was like, cool, I'm gonna get a nice spot right in front. And there was I did, and I saw like this sort of like kind of like decked out like luxury, like I thought it was black SUV, maybe like a Beamer or something, and it had like rims, tinted windows, and I was like, oh, that's like a pretty cool car. And then like coming out, like I noticed some like plates from like Arizona, I want to say, or Montana. There's kind of like it's like I'm always like kind of curious what kind of like different plates are like around and stuff, because usually you just see like Idaho, especially sort of like kind of like decked out like luxury, like I thought it was black SUV, maybe like a Beamer or something, and it had like rims, tinted windows, and I was like, oh, that's like a pretty cool car. And then like coming out, like I noticed some like plates from like Arizona, I want to say, or Montana. There's kind of like it's like I'm always like kind of curious what kind of like different plates are like around and stuff, because usually you just see like Idaho, especially in like my parking lot. And so like I came in, and it was like surprisingly like pretty empty that night. Like none of the
Now don't forget that Arizona or Montana plates out of state. That's interesting. For some reason I don't remember that. I mean, bypass the way he's acting, the way he's answering. I mean, Montana, Arizona, huh? Okay. I can't count how many times he says or like, because we'll never get through this. Sorry guys, move forward.
houses and like that on those like 2 streets were having parties, which was like kind of unusual. And then I went home, was like making some tea, just like doing some contact staff drills and like stretching. I think I played a game of League, and then I went to bed, and then as I was falling asleep. It usually takes me like 30 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. Like, I don't know, I guess, I dismissed like initially like, one of my neighbors returning hello after me. So I heard like, a car shut, a door shut, and then like, apartment door shut, and like also like a scream. But like, that's like normal. Like I always hear like screaming almost every Saturday night. So like I didn't really like think of it. And so, but like, yeah, just looking back, I was like, I wonder if like, that wasn't just like some drunk dude like screaming, like it's actually like the murder. And yeah, and it was like, it was kind of a trip having like the cops like come on, and like no one knew what happened. They're just like, asking where we were, and we're like, this is weird. Like they're knocking on every single door in our apartment. Like that's never happened before. And then like I went inside and looked on the news, and it was like 4 people stabbed to death. I was like, it's like right across the street. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. When did you hear about it? Was it those knocks on the door? You woke up the next day? Did these knocks on your apartment door
Well, I
wake
was
up? How did you
already
learn about it?
I was already awake. You know, I was just like woke up a little bit. I was still like drinking coffee, and like the cops knocked on my door, and like after they asked me some questions, like right after they left and started like they were starting to talk to the next door over. I looked on my phone and Googled it and found it pretty much instantly, and that's when I knew. And then I think it was like I don't know a couple days later when we like the names were released and we like found out who it was or whatever.
Okay, that was the question I was going to ask. Like, did you initially know that you knew them at all, or did you just know
No,
the
actually,
neighbors?
when I first saw it, I saw the picture I saw. I thought it was actually the house, like the next house over. I was like, oh. But then when I found out it was like, the house of the people that I like, I don't want to say I knew them, but I was like met them. Then I was like, damn. And I don't know, it was kind of sad because actually, like they were super cool. Like I really like my neighbors.
Yeah, you'd met them.
So, like, I want to make sure you guys are like getting all the notes on like what he's talking about here, guys, because like the black SUV that like could be very important as well as like the plates. So make sure that we like get that too. Remember those states. Take the notes on this because it's like important. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Make sure. Like, I guess we can move forward. Like, okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
You'd met Kaylee, and who else had you met?
I think it was Santa and her boyfriend.
Okay. Okay.
And I think there was like some other people there, but I'm really bad with names. So like I think those like I had to like look at online like the faces to try to like remember them because it was just like it was super brief. But yeah, they were super nice. They're super friendly. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like the best neighbors you could want.
I have a question here that you mentioned.
So that comment doesn't make sense to me. Okay. And I'm only saying it like, and I'm not being funny right now. I think he's saying that just because of the situation. I don't think he actually knew them. That's my problem.
Hearing a lot of sounds typically from the neighbors. Is this because it's highly populated, poorly insulated? Tell us a little bit about the neighborhood, because a lot of us, all we see is only on the news. We're trying to grasp what this neighborhood is like.
I guess you would say it's kind of like an amphitheater here. It's like they live kind of like down like the hill, and then it's like a big open space. Everything's made of wood for the most part, and like they would have little like gatherings outside on their like in the back door, and so I mean, and then they're like drinking a little bit and it's Greek row, so it's like yeah, you can usually hear like parties and like just like social drinking chatter, like around the block or whatever, like usually on weekends. It's kind of like, similar vibe of like what you'd think of like a small downtown city, like, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Frat houses, two fraternity homes probably have a decent amount of parties going on if it's a college town. Is that?
And lots of the block parties are kind of popular too. Like they'll kind of like, like get in big crowds and then kind of like wander around, you know what I mean? Just like go throughout campus and stuff. Not so much lately, but like you go from like sometimes they only stay at a house for like an hour or two and then they like kind of like wander around and stuff. I guess in the winter a little bit less, but yeah.
Okay. And are you go ahead.
Oh, sorry, to find the question. They were at like I want to say 1-ish p.m., 1:30.
Okay. So
From
shortly after the police were called then, in other words.
Yeah, they came almost instantly.
Okay.
It was a big deal.
We have another.
There's Doc right there, guys. Somebody was asking for Doc Thrifty. There he is. Just so you know. What's up, Doc? Good to see you.
Another question here. Are you a student? How long have you lived there?
I'm not a student. I've been cooking for like 6 years now, 5 years.
Okay.
I've lived here off and on for 20. What was the last question? I missed it.
Let's see. It was, are you familiar with the activities at the house? I assume they mean the crime scene. Like, you were at their house when you met them, right? I'm referring
No,
to a Reddit.
I read them. They were actually outside. I never went inside. But no, I didn't like. I was in my apartment all night. So.
Okay, the night of the murders or the crime, you were in your apartment all night.
I never really hung out with them. So like, you know, to me they were just like some normal sorority girls that drink every once in a while on the weekends. So.
Okay.
Some normal sorority girls that drink on the weekends. Dude, come on.
And yeah, and when I was asking you about meeting them, I want everybody else to know, you know, and I know, but you also decided to share an AMA on Reddit recently, which is when I reached out to you, and you did kind of mention meeting them, or at least Kaylee, and maybe you think you might have met Xana and her boyfriend. That would be Ethan. Bringing them a bottle of wine, perhaps. Was that what happened? Or share us. Can you take us to?
Yeah, because I think the person I think I remember most is Kaylee, and like when I introduced myself, I think she was like the first one I shook hands with. And yeah, I just had like this. It was a pretty nice bottle of wine. I don't remember what kind it was, but it was pretty expensive. And you know, I was cooking with it, and I wasn't gonna finish it. And I was like taking my trash out, so I don't remember where I was outside. And you know, they were just like, you know, like chit chatting, drinking a little bit, playing some cool music. And so I went down, and they were like drinking some beer, and I was just like. Asked her if she wanted this bottle of wine. I wasn't gonna finish it, and they were like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." And then I was like, "Yeah," and then I just introduced them, like the neighbor, like lived upstairs, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, they were super nice and smiley, and that's pretty much all I remember. I never met him after that. I was like, I always thought about crashing their party sometimes, but I never actually like did it. I usually got my own thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah, you referred to them in the Reddit AMA as beautiful, joyful. I can't remember the other two adjectives, but yeah,
they seem very cool. And some of my coworkers actually went to high school with them in Coeur d'Alene, so it's like it's a trip for us. So yeah, and they said they're super cool too. So it's crazy that it's like when you think about these people getting stabbed, it's kind of like horrifying because it makes you think that it can happen to anyone. Like not just like people who are doing some shit. You know what I mean? Like just like normal people every day. And I think that's the really like spooky, scary part right now to some people.
Yeah. What's your thought about the luxury SUV now? Looking back, you probably didn't think too much of it then. Any ideas?
No, not really. It's pretty decked out. I think how like rims, tinted windows. It just looked like a cool car, and that's why I noticed it. But I didn't I just assumed it was like one of the the people's parents. Like a lot of the students here have really rich parents, and they have nice cars. So that's just kind of what it like seemed like to me. And I don't know. I saw I think it was a kind of like a deserty. It might have been. It was either like Arizona. It might even been Colorado, but I think or like Montana. And like I saw one of those cars like parked up on the hill of our lot a lot. I'm wondering if it was a white Elantra. I'm thinking back and I can't remember. Like I don't want to say it was or not, but that was the only other car I noticed that didn't seem like someone that lives.
Okay, let's back that up a little bit one more time.
It seemed like to me. And I don't know. I saw the really spooky, scary part right now to some people.
Yeah. What's your thought about the luxury SUV now? Looking back, you probably didn't think too much of it then. Any ideas?
No, not really. It's pretty decked out. I think how like rims, tinted windows. It just looked like a cool car, and that's why I noticed it. But I didn't I just assumed it was like one of the the people's parents. Like a lot of the students here have really rich parents, and they have nice cars. So that's just kind of what it seemed like to me. And I don't know, I saw like, I think it was a kind of like a deserty. It might have been, it was either like Arizona, it might even been Colorado, but I think, or like Montana. And like I saw one of those cars like parked up.
A Montana's a van, okay? Sorry about the echo. I keep forgetting to lock it down. A Colorado or a Montana. That's a van and a truck. It's not a car. So I don't know what he's talking about as far as that goes. Sorry.
Up on the hill of our lot a lot. I'm wondering if it was a white Elantra. I'm thinking back and I can't remember. Like I don't want to say it was or not, but that was the only other car I noticed that didn't seem like someone that lives there. I don't know. I'm not that observant, but I'm pretty, I'd say more observant than like most people, I guess.
Yeah. Liz is asking, did you know that your coworkers knew them before or after the
No.
murder?
No, one of the like the next day I went to work, I had one of the dudes talk down and talk to me and just like ask me how I was doing and talk and always telling me how like knew some of the people or something, and like it's like, well, that's crazy. But I mean that's like Coeur d'Alene's pretty local, you know what I mean? So like
Right.
it's not that far off.
Right. And that's where you work then, is Coeur d'Alene. Is that
No,
did
I
you
work
say?
in Moscow. No, I work in
Oh,
Pullman,
you
sorry.
went to high school with them in Coeur d'Alene and you work in Moscow.
Does he work in Moscow or Pullman? Because he said Moscow, then he says Pullman. That's what I'm saying. Doc says, I also want to point, BK left to PA 2 days after this interview with Lauren. Aiden left to California the next day after Brent was shot. That was a good point, Doc. Thank you. Good point.
Go. That makes
No,
sense.
I didn't go to high school with them. One of my coworkers did.
Okay.
I went to school in Pullman.
Okay. All right. Sleuth Mom, it's good to see you. I want to let people know that for those missing, Sleuth Mom does a wonderful job covering important cases. Thanks for being here with us, Sleuth Mom. There's some audio. I wanted to ask you this because you've come forward and said you may or may not have heard a scream. You're thinking about it now, wondering if it was a party sound you heard, or if it was an actual, scream you heard. There has been so much speculation going on, online and social media. I know you know that. You've been a part of that. We'll talk about that later. But there's been some audio making rounds of a scream. And I was just wondering if you could confirm that that was nothing you provided to any media anywhere, because a lot of people are trying to make connections there.
I didn't hear about it till basically people were telling me and things like this, and I was like, oh, LOL. Yeah, no, complete hoax. Yeah,
Okay.
I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
How many views has it got?
It's on multiple channels, so I couldn't even tell you how many views the screen
wow.
has received because there's so many different outlets, not official outlets, but YouTubers.
Yeah, I didn't record anything. I don't see how I would record something after I hear something unless I was already recording, which I wasn't. So
Yeah. You've mentioned that you're an artist and that you're a chef. Do you ever stay up late doing your craft, working on things? Do you ever hear what's going on around the neighborhood ever? If you're up
yeah.
late?
I mean, I don't know. No, I guess not. I mean, I'm usually listening to something, so I mean, I'm usually like zoned in on whatever I'm doing. But I guess it's kind of like on like the parties night. Like the like I don't know, the parties are kind of just like noise to me. So like I hear that, and like every once in a while, like I'll hear like somebody return home really late in the night. But I mean, it's like semi-normal, like 3, 4 a.m. Like that's not that late. People go over to people's houses and they hang out for a long time, and then they come home on the weekends. Like that's just like college life, I feel like. And like sometimes I'll just like listen to some music in my bedroom to like kind of like tune out like anybody who's like super super late or loud. And then sometimes like you'll hear just like people walking down, like I don't know, sometimes yelling, but not like it doesn't happen like I don't know. It's not super super loud, but it's like it's campus, it's noisy. But I mean, it's like you can hear what's going on. I guess sort of like was close vicinity, but yeah, it's usually just noise. Like there's nothing like you want to listen to. I guess it's kind of weird. I guess like, you can kind of like, our walls are really thin, so like certain places you can hear like certain areas outside or inside, whatever. But I don't know. The place I think you can hear in that neighbor's house, I guess, is like in the house is like the yard. I feel like the yard is the place where you can hear the most things. Like, so if you were going to hear something that happened at that house, it'd probably be the yard. Like, I feel like the sounds inside, I'm guessing, wouldn't carry as much. Just because like again, I think that yard is sort of like almost an amphitheater set up a little bit. It's like it's got the hill and it's like down a little bit, and then above it is like the parking lot and another hill. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a meteor like hole in a sense. And so like I think probably like, like in the middle, the sound probably resonates around.
That makes sense. And
All right. Now here's what I'm going to say. I know you guys are watching my facial expressions left and right because I know I have a lot of them. I'm a very animated person with it, okay? It's hard to listen to some of the things he's saying. Here's what I think about this. This is just my opinion, okay? Don't take this as, the word. Just saying. For him to notice the black SUV that was decked out and this, that, and everything else, okay? You had to notice something. And if he's that close, if he was awake, then I can almost guarantee that he heard something. Because we were watching the Banfield video, okay, the body cam video, when it was finally brought to my attention, and we heard screams in the background. So that distance, I'm not saying that was from the house, folks. What I'm saying is if we're picking up the screams from whatever distance it was to those body cams away from that person that was doing it, if he was that close to that house and there was noise going on in that house, he had to have heard something. That's my opinion, okay? And he was awake. So he had to have heard something. Now, if he's being quiet because, for whatever reason, then it is what it is. I have a message out to him to do an interview with him if he should respond to it, and I'd like to just ask him directly, flat out, directly. Like, it's just, us right here, bro. What did you hear? What do you think you heard? What do you think you saw? Can you think at what kind of vehicle you saw? He said a BMW SUV, something like that, decked out, black. Okay. We've seen nothing like that. We've seen trucks. We've seen the Land Rover. We've seen this, but none of that stuff's black. So, yes, Enan's 30 years old. So, again, that's my thought with this.
You Can Call Me Patches is also saying college towns are just noise sometimes. It's hard to tell what's what. A request for clarification. Back to the SUV one more time that you saw. Can you clarify?
I don't think
There's
so.
some confusion in chat. Okay, so you're saying you don't.
I don't know though.
I don't.
She drove a Ford. I don't know. Ford's not that luxury to me. I don't think I would have noticed that. I mean, it's a nice car, but I don't think it didn't stand out to me. I don't know. It just stood out to me because like I drive kind of a sketchy car, and it's kind of decked out, and it's like, I don't know. I noticed like I've always been into like, cars with like rims and tinted windows and stuff like that. And this was like one of those cars I'd be like, man, probably if I was younger and rich, I probably would have bought it. So I think that's why it stood out to me. But like, yeah, it just, it kind of seemed like, either a baller or like somebody's rich parents. That's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's the speculation? Do you talk to neighbors? What are people saying about this?
No, I'm a hermit. I'm super hermit. Okay. I don't really talk to anyone. I talk to a few of my really old friends. I talk to I hang with my coworkers sometimes. And most of the time I'm super busy in my crafts. Like, I don't know. I have like, I don't know. There's like a girl I hang out with, and that's about it.
Okay. Does it make you nervous at all that this is unsolved? Do you feel nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
I mean, it's pretty brutal, and like, I don't know, thought out killing, I guess. Like, it's like kind of scary, and it also kind of scary that it just happened to some ordinary people. So I think everyone's a little bit spooked now, you know what I mean? Like, I guess in the city this shit's like semi-normal or whatever, but like not here. Like, I don't know. So I think, I don't know, it's kind of scary that this would happen ever. Like,
where in God's green earth is this even remotely normal? Nowhere. It's just not normal, folks. If you're trying to say that it's normal for big cities to have things like this happen, okay, maybe, but not like this. Not 4 people at one time, you guys. It's not normal. Don't get that in your head, because it's not. That's that comment. What the dude? Moving on.
especially in this town. So
Yeah.
and it's like, it's like you think about it, it's like, what kind of protection can you get at these cases? Like, you can lock your windows, you can like, put strips and stuff, you can get a gun, but like this.
Well, here's my question. Rory, brother, listen. There was a, I think it might have been Maisie's. Wasn't there a Ford Explorer that was there that was towed as well? I think that was black. Thanks, Doc. I will check it out, brother. There was a, I think it was a black Ford Explorer or something like that. Now that's, I mean, he says he drives a sketchy vehicle. If it's that blue thing he was driving, it is sketchy. I promise you that. It was a dump, but Maisie's car was not decked out. It didn't look all that great, guys. It just looked like a Ford Explorer. Nothing, but if that's decked out to him, then it could be. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just saying, guys. It's definitely not normal anywhere. So yeah, but this one was a Mercedes. Okay. Well, that's definitely not a Ford Explorer. So
Dude like went in the house and killed them before they could really react. They grab a gun or whatever and left, and not anybody knowing. Like, that's scary, you know what I mean? So like, thinking about people doing that out, especially like on your block, is pretty spooky.
Yeah, that absolutely. It is. It's and thank you. Hello from England. We are so sorry to hear such a horrific crime, they said. Thank you so much. Have you talked to law enforcement since that first day they came over and asked you if you'd heard anything?
Yeah, I did once.
Once? Did they come over to the neighborhood again to talk to everyone, or did you go talk to them?
No, I wouldn't. I just talked to them later.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about that, or is that
No,
off
not
the
really.
record? Okay.
That's off the record, Chef.
Thank you. And by the way, this is a channel where I will ask a lot of questions, but I also respect my guests. For those wondering if something's off the record or you don't ever want to answer, that's all you need to say and we move on. So thank you. You posted on your Facebook. I'm going here, by the way, to my phone to look at questions that I have written for you. And I'm also getting questions over in chat. While I look, you have mentioned on your own social media pages and even posted some of the proof that you've been getting harassed yourself and feeling the wrath of true crime sleuth and speculation. Can you tell us a little bit about that or what you've been going through?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of, it's almost hilarious to me that people think I did it.
Okay, and that is something else to think about, guys. There was a driver that picked the girls up at the truck and dropped them off at home. He may have pulled in just for a minute to let the girls out, and that could have been the very moment he looked out, and the guy could have been driving something nice. That's all I'm saying. It could have been what he saw. Thank you, Patty, for that, and that's a good point to remember, folks. It very well could be, or it very well could have been something completely different. Just saying, this is something to think about. Like, for real. Like
totally.
And they're like, telling me like, yo, you did it. And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the equivalent to like flat earth theory to me when I like read some of these like Reddit conspiracies and shit. I don't know. I've been mostly ignoring it, but you know, sometimes I read it and it gets to me, but I don't know. It's the other time it's just like it's almost entertaining to me, but it's a little bit scary too. I'm like, what are these people trying to get me? But it's whatever.
Yeah. Cheshire Cat is saying, are there cameras in the area? Do you think anyone might have been able to catch anything that happened?
I
What are your
doubt
thoughts?
very many. No, there's not a lot of thefts or break-ins or murders or really anything that happens here. A lot of people leave their doors unlocked, windows unlocked. It's generally pretty safe. Our our apartment complex didn't even really have lights in like the hallway or cameras until like right after. Then they put up like some motion sensors and stuff. But like there's like for the most part this neighborhood's like pretty dark and we kind of I don't know I kind of liked it. You know what I mean? It's like at night like there's no lights and you kind of go to sleep really easily. Um, but yeah, I don't think very many people have cameras because they don't really feel unsafe in this neighborhood or whatever. Most people know people too, so it's like whatever. Yeah, it's not a really sketchy neighborhood, like just a bunch of college kids. Yeah, I know apparently some of them have like Dorset neighbors, and I know like, just in the 21st century, a lot of people have like security cameras, so there's like probably some stuff around, but it's like me, like I bought a cam for my car just, in case whatever, but it's been like a year and I still haven't put it in my car. So like,
Oh wow.
like
Yeah.
that's how like safe it's like, I just like never really felt the need to like actually put it up. But now I'm like, I should definitely put that shit up. I wish I had it up now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Would people sleep with their doors open in this town? Is that kind of the protocol?
I don't know about that far, but I'm not gonna say it's never happened. I accidentally walked into somebody's house because the door was open, and I was trying to go to a friend's house when I was like 17. And I like opened it up, and it was just like some dudes on the couch. I was like, "Oops." Shut the
Yeah.
door back to halfway. I was like, "Oops." Went to the next house. It's like, "Oh, cool. This is the right one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conflicted angel. A lot of people are just asking for confirmation, which I actually really value. As a journalist, I was a television reporter for 10 years. It's really good to hear and see things and then to ask for more confirmation always. So they're asking, is this actually you commenting
Yes.
on Reddit doing the AMA? They want to know
Yes.
that. Yes, this is him. Thank you. Thank you for answering that. Thank you, Sleuth Mom, for reminding people that this is very true. I'm trying to read everything in chat, and some moderators are helping a bit, but I am missing some things. You can send and post something in a super chat or leave something in comment, but I don't know if we'll have the same guest again. So I'll do my best though to get to your questions. And thank you again for being here. A lot of thank yous are coming through for you being here and coming forward. So what have you heard anything about the alcohol offense at 3 a.m.? Do you know about that? It was behind the Sigma Chi house, and we have body cam footage from that. Do you know anything about that or heard of
I
that?
haven't. It's the first I've heard of it. I don't really pay attention to the media or news really at all. I'm a stick juggler. I kind of in my own world most of the time. But yeah, no. I don't. I'm super hermit. I kind of like. I live like one of the most introverted lives you can imagine. But no, I'm curious though. Tell me about it.
Well, it was, and I already have one correction. Thank you to everyone in chat helping me with these little details. It was on the band field. It was about 3 a.m. There's body cam footage now that has come out from it. It was the morning of the murders. So people are, zeroing in on different things they're seeing in the body cam footage that was released, taken on the band field at 3 a.m. And I know that you sometimes hear things, not always. You say you were asleep all night. What time did you go to bed that night, by the way?
I don't know. I'm probably around like 2:30 to 4 a.m.
Okay.
I don't really look at the time after I get home, so it's all just like an estimate. But that's probably the range based off of the activities that I was doing.
Yeah. One more confirmation having to do with SUVs, but now this is about Kaylee's or some, can you confirm if there was a black Explorer that was parked there daily? It was parked behind a red Jeep inside the crime scene tape. Everybody was sort
I
of
don't think it was that one. No, I'm gonna review the footage again, but I don't think it was that one.
Okay. Did you see a black Explorer that was parked there daily with crime scene tape around? Or did you notice the vehicles that
Yeah,
were
I
inside the crime scene
think
tape?
so. I think I noticed a lot of like dark SUVs, and I just kind of assumed they were like FBI or police or something. But this was like this. I'm pretty sure this other car was different. And it had out of state plates. That's one of the things I noticed about it. I think this one didn't have out of state. The Ford Explorer, or whatever. I don't think that had out of state plates. I could be wrong, but this one definitely had. It was like I almost want to say it was Utah, honestly, but it was like barrenish. It was night. It was hard to see, but it was like barren place, like deserty. It's like Arizona or Utah, Colorado, Montana. It's like mountainy, maybe. I think it might have been mountainy, but yeah. So those are. I only saw 2 cars that had out of state plates. So
Okay. Julie is asking, genuinely curious. She's not being confrontational, and I can confirm
no, you're
that
good.
because Julie is a very curious person. She's
Vaulted
curious.
ceilings.
Why would
Vaulted
an introvert
ceilings.
move to a party town? Go ahead. Sorry.
This is the only place I could afford with vaulted ceilings. So I could juggle at home. I need like at least like 10, 11, 12, 13-foot clearance. So it's hard to find. The apartments like that are hard to find anywhere. So and like the ones with vaulted ceilings are usually like luxury places. So you have to pay like a premium for them. So this was cool. I was living in Pullman, so I was like paying a lot, and I had because of my felonies, I couldn't really move anywhere for 7 years. So after 7 years, I instantly moved into the first place available with vaulted ceilings. And this is where I ended up.
Gotcha. I will admit, I've been admiring the ceilings in the background. They're beautiful. Those wood ceilings.
Yeah, pretty dope place.
Yeah. Miss Wales asked, did the dog bark lots, or did you know? And I think they're referring to
I did
Murphy.
not know the dog.
Okay.
No, I never met the dog. I didn't know there was a dog until pretty recently, actually. Someone asked me why the dog was spared, and that's the first time I heard about the dog.
Okay. Okay. And did you hear any dogs barking ever? Were dogs typically barking in the neighborhood or nothing?
No, not really.
I have no idea what footage you may have, folks. That's different. That's new to me. Something's not right with that, though. I agree.
Not usually. It's usually decently quiet at night. I feel like sometimes I don't know. I usually don't hear a lot of animals, honestly. I feel like if my cat will maybe make a dog bark every once in a while, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, our deal here is this is like, consider this like Reddit AMA. You can answer any questions here you want, and you don't have to answer any questions you want. But Jamie is asking, he says, where did it go? Someone is asking, this was not it, but somebody was asking if you wanted to go further. They mentioned you had a felony, and you talked a little bit about this on Reddit AMA. Do you want to go into that now, or?
I've got 3. Well, I don't have 3 anymore. They're expired, so they're off my record now. As of like 3 years ago. So it's been like 10 years. But yeah, I had 3. Had a possession of marijuana. Had a possession of MDMA with intent to deliver, and I had a delivery of MDMA.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so one thing that does bother me is when he explains the things that he's done, just like that giant letter that he wrote that Publicly Buzz read. It almost comes off as if he's proud of the things that he's done wrong. Okay, most people aren't like that. Most people aren't. You don't smile when you're talking about the felonies you've had. Typically, that's not a normal situation, guys. But that comes off a little weird to me. Definitely a little weird. That's all I'm saying.
For sharing that. Oh, and let's see. We lost you for a bit. Are you back?
Yeah.
You're back. Can we hear you? Okay, we can hear you. All right. Thank you, Stephanie B, for reminding everyone that's here to please, if you like these types of interviews, hit like and subscribe. It helps us know what we should continue doing as a channel. And Liz is asking, this is a great question, and I want to take this question a little bit further. She is asking, have there been any normal parties at the Sigma Chi house since the incident, or any parties, or has it been really quiet?
No, I
since
haven't. I haven't really noticed anything since then. But I honestly haven't been really.
He didn't even let her finish asking that question, and he answered it. That was kind of interesting.
A little bit further. She is asking, have there been any normal parties at the Sigma Chi house since the incident, or any parties, or has it been really quiet?
No, I haven't. I haven't really noticed anything since then. But I honestly haven't been really. I haven't been home as much lately on the weekends, but yeah, it's been pretty quiet, honestly. No, because there's definitely been no parties at that house recently, and I think there was like maybe one, but I can't really remember anything outside of that. It's been pretty tame recently.
Okay. Yeah, has it been quieter around town since this event?
Yeah, I mean, it's also like you have to think about it too, like the cops are everywhere, right?
crime.
Like nobody wants to party. Like the cops are like there's like probably like 20 cops parked in like the parking lot next to our neighborhood. Like, and there's like probably like another 5 like in the house like all day. There's always one that's there all night. So it's like I don't think anyone's trying to party with, you know what I mean? Like for whatever reason.
Now we hear him saying that then, but then when the video of Dave came out, and Dave was asked that same type question, Dave said that people kind of just went on as like nothing happened. Am I wrong? I believe that's how that was said. You know what I mean? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's how that was said from Dave. So just making sure. Thank you very much, Nudie. The Nudie. I love that name. That's great. Thank you for the $3 super sticker. That's very much appreciated. The Nudie. That's awesome. Cool name, by the way. 1 second. So, again, like I said, a lot of people do believe that too. Dre Latina. A lot of people believe that. Here we go. 1 second. Sorry about that, Nudie. Here we go. Thank you very much. Once again.
So it's kind of funny. I thought they were like, just trying to like speed trap and pull people over for like the first few weeks, but then I realized that they're just nonstop working on this case. So they're always here. But I'm sure people are trying to throw parties with that happening. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally. Liz, thank you. And I want to correct my words. I called what has happened 4 weeks ago an event. What I mean is an absolutely horrendous crime and tragedy. Forgive my sometimes not the best words I use. I don't mean to. Lives can be hard while I'm multitasking with chat. There was a great question from Julie Holden. I don't see it now, but essentially, has the restaurant you work in, without telling us what that restaurant is, has it been quieter?
Now, I'm not saying I believe that Ian's involved, you guys. All I'm saying is that his answers to his questions are just off to me, okay? I have my own personal opinion about him. It's just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean anything at all. I don't think he's involved at all. That's me, though, okay? There's a reason why I feel that way. I'll explain it later. But thank you, Michigal. I will pull that up next, and we'll check that out. There's just, for some reason, I never could feel like this guy was involved in this. There's something about him that just makes me not think that. I'm not saying that he's not an intelligent person. I'm saying that something just doesn't fit with this, with him, with me. Okay. Um, Sherry K says, Dago, you're right about Dave's interview, but he was not asked what the vibe was like 2 weeks after the crime. It's true too. I remember him saying that, things never stopped. Things just kept on going on like they normally were. People were still having parties, this and everything else. So that's what I was talking about. Yes, Mama 4, I have looked into it. I saw what the inquest said, and I'm going to be looking right back into it because I don't agree with the inquest on it, that she drowned and that was that, and that there was no third-party involvement. That's bullshit. I'm calling it right here now what it is. I don't want to cross the cases over, but we're going to go back to it. I owe you guys that anyway because I've been covering that one. My power went out the last day I tried to re-up with it. The inquest is out, said she drowned. There was no third party. Welcome, Mother. It's good to have you here. Good to see you. Said that there was no third party involvement and she drowned, and I'm sorry, guys, but I'm calling bullshit on that. We know that there's more to that than what they're saying. So, and I'll get back to that at a later date. I promise you guys, but thank you for asking. Appreciate that. All right. No, I 100% Mama 4. There's no way. And I know who's involved with it. There's 2 people for sure that I know that are, in my opinion, that are involved. So let's get this interview out of the way.
No, I mean, people can't stop telling me about the conspiracy theories, and it's actually been providing a little bit of humor in these times, because they're pretty hilarious individuals. So like, I don't know, they just keep like making fun of these new conspiracies, and so it's been an interesting time for sure. The first week it was really quiet. I didn't say like probably like really anything for the first 2 days. Like I was at work after it happened, but
It's okay, Smalls. Don't worry about it.
after a few weeks, it's starting to get better. I don't know. I have the other day I was thinking about it and I was pretty quiet, but we've been trying to like, I don't know. It's best to just try not to think about it, right now. But it's hard also because like we're surrounded by it everywhere. But
right. Yeah, speaking of speculations, you live in the neighborhood, which means there was somebody that, did this. Do you speculate without naming names? We don't want to name any names or anything or identify people on our channel, but do you ever speculate about who could have possibly done this?
I mean, for sure, but no one fits the bill. Honestly, when I think about all my neighbors, I'm just like, no way. Like everyone, I think even like, who might kill them at the slightest inconvenience is just completely irrational and ridiculous. Like when I think about any like individual personally, like any personal like neighbor.
No, the house that Maddie and Xana with the watermelon was at was on the other house, the blue house that had the light bulb camera. That's the house they were at for that, guys. Not David. He lived in an apartment complex with small apartments in it.
For like anyone in this area, I'm just like, there's no way. Like they're all like pretty normal people. They all got their own shit going on. To think of them doing this is just absurd. But
so with that being said, what none of your neighbors fit the bill. What type of person do you think this might have been?
I'm looking into I don't know if it's true, but I was looking into a report that said it was like almost a blunt, heavy object and a really strong person did it. I'm kind of imagining like maybe like a hunter dude, like some like super mentally ill dude who's maybe experienced with hunting, who has like some type of like farm blunt stabbing object and just like really waited patiently until everything was really quiet. Like maybe he knew about this weekend was being quiet and then went in there and did it.
Okay, this part is the part of the interview that kind of caught my attention before. Is he telling a story right now? Is he telling a story of something he knows right here and now, or is this actually something that he's just coming up with? If you listen to the beginning of this through again, I want you guys to pay attention to this, because to me, this almost comes off as he's telling, if not the story, a story. Okay, listen to this.
They just keep like making fun of these new conspiracies, and so it's been an interesting time for sure. The first week it was really quiet. I didn't say like probably like really anything for the first 2 days. Like I was at work after it happened, but you know, after a few weeks, you know, it's starting to get better. I don't know. I have the other day I was thinking about it and I was pretty quiet, but you know, we've been trying to like, I don't know. It's best to just try not to think about it, you know, right now. But it's hard also because like we're surrounded by it everywhere. But
Right.
Yes, Gina.
Yeah. Speaking of speculations, you know, you live in the neighborhood, which means there was somebody that, you know, did this. Do you speculate without naming names? We don't want to name any names or anything or identify people on our channel, but do you ever speculate about who could have possibly done this?
I mean, for sure, but no one fits the bill. Honestly, when I think about all my neighbors, I'm just like, no way. Like everyone, I think, even like, you know, who might kill them at the slightest inconvenience is just completely irrational and ridiculous. Like when I think about any like individual personally, like any personal like neighbor, like anyone in this area, I'm just like, there's no way. Like they're all like pretty normal people. They all got their own shit going on. To think of them doing this is just absurd. But
so with that being said, what none of your neighbors fit the bill. What type of person do you think this might have been? What it was?
I'm looking into I don't know if it's true, but I was looking into a report that said it was like almost a blunt, heavy object, and a really strong person did it. I'm kind of imagining like maybe like.
Now, right there, where did he get that information from? That's kind of interesting to me.
Like hunter dude, like some like super mentally ill dude who's maybe experienced with hunting, who has like some type of like farm blunt stabbing object and just like really waited.
What is a farm blunt stabbing object? A farm blunt stabbing object. Right. Right. Exactly. This was from 6 months ago, guys. This interview, by the way.
Patiently until everything was really quiet. Like maybe he knew about this weekend was being quiet and then went in there and did it. But I don't know. It's like, it's so bizarre. Like nothing, thinking about, it's hard to think about it because I think the first thing I try to think about is a motive. And that's like, it just draws me into a bunch of blanks. So yeah, but I mean, there's like, you know, there's surrounding areas that have like just have a history of lead poisoning. So like, you
know, we lost you for a bit, or at least on my end. If you want to try to, I'm going to try to refresh this and see while we can see if we get him back to ask him more questions. Somebody's asking if he was paid for this interview. Absolutely not. This was something.
I agree, MJ. He's way too open and way too forthcoming. Okay. No, and that whole little story he just told is ridiculous. But lead poisoning in water, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah. Right, and that's it, meow. I think he's guessing too. I really do. I agree, Paladin. I feel like I don't think he has any involvement, folks. I do think he heard or some maybe even saw something that he has maybe a fear of talking about. You know, I feel like he might have a fear of talking about what he saw or hear or heard. Just saying. So we're gonna get through this, guys, and that's probably gonna bring it down to the end of the day here, because I do have to be live tonight to do the true story behind the movie An American Crime. I will be back here tomorrow, live at the same time, to pick this up after the end of this, where we start off to the next set that we're gonna jump into, and we're gonna start tearing things down little by little by little, and looking at the small things, folks. And that'll be that. But let's get through this, and then I'll explain the rest of it to you.
Thing I requested, and he willingly did as volunteer. He is not being paid, and Hidden True Crime has never paid for an interview. Nor have we been paid for an interview. We've done. Let's see. I'm going to try to remove and bring him back. Nothing. Chef Dizzy, if you can hear me, try refreshing. We'll wait for a little bit longer. I am seeing chats. They are going very, very fast. Stick with me here to see if we might have fully lost him now. But again, we'll wait for a little bit and see if he can't get back on the link. Correct. Thank you, Colette. He was not compensated. He did not barter.
And that was the end of the interview, by the way. So what we're gonna do, guys, because like I said, I do have to be on here tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to cover the true story behind the movie An American Crime. I'm coming back. This is what we're doing, nonstop until it's done. We're gonna go back and nitpick through little things, tear them apart, read into them, look into them, see what we can find in them. The grub truck, videos, closed caption video, anything you can think of. We're looking at it, guys, to find what we missed. That's what we're looking for at this point. Who and what we missed. And we will find something, I'm sure, because we always do. Between noon and 12:30, same time. But like I said, we looked at this video just to kind of dissect it a little bit to see what Enan had to say again. It makes me wonder about the SUV, because it seems like he really does have an interest in whatever SUV he saw. Okay. He knows vehicles, he says. Okay, so we're gonna look for that. Not to mention we're gonna be trying to cover the hearing as well tomorrow. So we're gonna cover that, and then we're gonna just go from that, depending on what happens first, right into this. And pick up where we left off. And like I said, we're picking apart everything we can, you guys, because that's what we need to do. I appreciate you guys all being here with me today. You guys are amazing. I'm glad that everybody has the same passion with this case. We want to know who did this. It leads to the point to make everybody believe at this point that Brian didn't. And as I've been saying from day one, I'm not saying that Brian's innocent. I'm not saying that Brian's guilty. I'm saying that Brian is innocent until proven guilty. Okay. And we also did, by the way, for those of you that didn't see it, find that there was three more male DNA profiles found in that house around the deceased victims, guys. Who do those profiles belong to? I want to know, because in my opinion, they have to belong to somebody that was responsible for this as well. They have to. Obviously, they don't belong to Jack or any of these other people that we know have been in the house. So who do they belong to? Okay, it's important, guys. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we're going to start looking at things. We're going to start trying to see who these profiles could belong to. 3 males. 3 males, guys. 3 more males. So again, as I told you guys, if Brian did this, he didn't do it by himself. I've been saying that. There's 3 other male DNA profiles right there for you. It'll tell you that they're on it. Okay. So that's what we're doing. Piece by piece by piece by piece, we are going to completely tear this apart until we find something. And I know we're going to find new stuff, guys. We're going to find it. We always do find new stuff. Always. Okay. That is why we're doing this. We got rainstorms are coming. Thank you, Avery Shannon. Mass sniping in Massachusetts today. Is it connected? I doubt it. You never know, though. We'll have to look into that, too. Let's see. Go ahead and throw me your comments and stuff now, guys, now that we're towards the end of the show. I find it odd that UC Davis was playing football in Moscow, and that student was arrested with a hunting knife recently. Very interesting. Page. I don't know, dear. Let me check. Hang on a moment. I'm looking. Let me see here. Thunder and enlightening out there. I don't know, Paige. I don't see it, hon. I'm trying to find it. Hold on, folks. One second. And I had an email. Somebody also asked me to take a look at. I don't see it yet, Paige. Hold on. Whoa. Oh, okay. I've seen those. Thank you, Alyssa. I got your email as well. All right. Okay, I don't see it there, hon. I will see it though. Yeah, we're getting dumped on right now, folks. Oh, and that's, let me check this here. One moment. Can we watch the golf commentary drop grub truck video? So we can, yeah, we can watch those ones. Okay, Alyssa showing the police officers driving an SUV that pulled over Emma Bailey that night. It's a Ford Explorer. We have cops around here that drive those, Alyssa. Our sheriff's department does, as well does our city. The closest city to me drives them as well. Yeah, that's a Ford Explorer SUV. That's what most of our cops around here drive nowadays. But thank you for the email, Alyssa. I appreciate that. Hold on, guys. Let me double check here. True Crime Rocket Science. Good to have you here. Thank you, Heather. Michelle Shepard. There it is. That was the one. It was an article from December 5th of 2022 that Steve Goncalves, I guess, had interviewed for to the New York Post. Which is something we knew, that Steve was doing his own private investigation himself. 1 second. It's loading. Hold on. Let me have you see this real quick. Thank you for sending me this. I do appreciate it. I think we have seen this one, but it's okay. All right. Here we go. Maybe it lets it play. Maybe.
I'm not a professional.
No, it doesn't want to load now.
Also, I want to specify that, but they've said the entry point was the slide. There's a couple things that tell me with common sense, but I'm not a professional, so I want to specify that. But they've said the entry point was the slider or the window. It was in the middle floor. So to me, he doesn't have to go upstairs. His entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs. Looks like he probably may have not gone downstairs. We don't know that for sure, but he obviously went upstairs.
When he talks about the fact that they didn't have to go upstairs, his entry point was the second floor, the slider. That's what brings me to the conclusion that Xana was the target, folks. He didn't have to go upstairs. Okay, that's what makes me believe that that's what Steve means with that. Okay, and I have been always thinking that for quite a long time here now. Congrats, Paula. Good to know. They go that specific one with Emma is a BMW. Oh, it looked like a Ford Explorer, hon. When I looked at the emblem on the front, it looked like the Ford emblem. I may have missaw it, but I'll go back and look at it again. But this is what doesn't mean the opposite. Doesn't mean the opposite, Dago. I don't know. I'm not sure, but that's what it sounds like to me.
So I'm using logic. That he chose to go up there when he didn't have to. And I can kind of tell by my daughter's texts, messages. She did call 911. She wasn't saying anything along the lines of like she had heard something or she was in fear. So I'm just putting the dots together.
Yes, he is. Come on. Round of applause.
Every time. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Like I said, so that has always made me feel like Xana was the target. Okay, and that they didn't need to go upstairs, but I feel like they chased Kaylee upstairs because maybe she had threatened to call police or something like that at that point. Okay, that's my thought on it. Sorry about the muting, folks. I always forget to unmute myself. My apologies. I mute all the time so that you guys don't get an echo when we're watching the video. So I'm trying to remember, folks. But that's something that I have always felt, you guys, very strongly too. And but do we really know when black vehicle arrived? No, and that's the other thing, D. That's a good point. Whatever Enan was talking about as far as this big black SUV that was there, so on and so forth, we don't know when it was there, exact time, how long it was there. He may not have seen that. He may not have seen that. He may have just glimpsed out the window and saw that vehicle sitting there. So we don't know exactly what time that was that he saw that. That's the problem with that. You know what I mean? Peaky Triple X. Good to have you here. Thank you. Right. That's very true, Paladin. It could be true. It was there 2 a.m. and not there in the morning. Highly suspicious. Very well, yeah, I agree with that. True crime, rocket science. But he said he got off work at midnight. Okay. And where did it go? He stood around, he said, both sitting with somebody he worked with, and got home about 1:30 a.m. and it's something about playing a game or something. And then he noticed it. So we'll say around 2 a.m. or so. Okay. And then it was gone. That's why I strongly feel that Santa was the target, yes. And have for a long time. I really have. Syracuse says Xana is from Arizona. If she was the target, the luxury SUV being from Arizona, if that's the plate that he saw, is suspicious. It can be. It very well could be. That's an interesting observation, Sarah. Very interesting observation, and thank you for that. This is the stuff that we're going to be doing. Virginia Wolf, good to see you. Dear Dago, do they ask defendants to take a lie detector test, or is that not done anymore? Well, it's inadmissible in court. I don't know if they're going to bother with something like that. It would be interesting if they did. It definitely would be interesting if they did. I'm not muted, MJ. And that's the other thing. Paladin says Ian was probably stoned 99% of the time, so we don't know. We can't take that 100% to heart because we don't know exactly what he saw or heard. But I guess we'll see. For sure. But like I said, guys, again, I know a lot of you guys won't be here for tonight because it's not what you're interested in, and that's okay. I absolutely understand that. But tomorrow, between 12 and 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're diving even deeper into what we looked at today. Today was just skimming the surface, kind of getting the generalized stuff out there like we did. A couple interviews, couple different things to look at, the basics of it, and then we're going to start looking at and picking apart the details, folks. And I will, bring up a couple people if we need to. I'd love to have Jules up here, things like that, to look at the things that we're looking at and pick them apart, guys. That's what you guys are for. That's what we're doing. The danger zone, that's an interesting observation as well. I'm not sure, but it very well could be, guys. We don't know. We don't know, but we're going to try to find out. We really are. That's a fact. So once again, guys, let's see here. Thank you, Miss Heather. This channel, folks, once again, is 100% crowdfunded. Anybody that would like to support the channel via the Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, the links are right there. It is very much appreciated, folks. It keeps me coming to you guys every day, and I appreciate you for that. Cami Burchett, good to see you. TCRS, good to see you. True Crime, okay. The News are Dues in the house. Good to have you. I got to look up the hearing time for sure. But like I said, guys, this is just the beginning. We got plenty more to do, so I hope to see you guys all tomorrow for that. Those of you that are interested in the true story behind the movie American Crime, make sure you guys are here tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so we can jump into that. And whatever else I decide to get into tonight, I may be bouncing around to other channels as well. Eva Hackshaw, good to see you. 1:30, Miss Brandy says, thank you very much. That's when the hearing will be, and we will be here for that tomorrow too, folks. We're going to be covering all that. JB, what is up? It's official. They're yes, they are definitely seeking the death penalty, which I'm not surprised at this point. I do believe that they're going to do everything in their power to put this man to death. Okay. I hope they prove him guilty the right way before they do it, is all I'm saying. I hope he gets a fair trial. Yes, and we are covering tomorrow night on Evil CJ's channel, folks. I will be there. We are going to be jumping back on the Flora 4 case, covering that over there. So I hope to see you guys tuning in over there tomorrow night for sure, because we have to keep everything going with the Flora 4. It's very important that we do that. We have to keep the word out there, keep the case warm and not cold, guys, because it's been cold for way too long. So join us over there for that as well. Higher ground, that's something I've taken into effect as well. Deanan could be afraid, knows the local drug scene and its players. He's always been into drugs. So yeah, that's a very good possibility, higher ground. Thank you for that comment. A very, very, very plausible comment, to be honest with you. Amen to that, CJ. Amen to that. All right, guys, do me a favor, folks, and don't forget to love yourselves and to love each other. I cannot wait to see you all tomorrow. And for those of you that are joining me tonight, I can't wait for that either. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night. For those of you that I won't see tonight, and I promise you, you guys are amazing people. I love you all, each and every one of you, to death. You guys have an amazing day. See you on the other side. Bye-bye.